You hate Fear Her. I love Fear Her. I'm gonna watch a whole episode of Fear Her, and every time Fear Her just lights my brain up, I'm going to pause and explain how I perceive it, so you can see through my eyes how good Fear Her is. Prepare to fall in love. It's one of the greatest Doctor Who episodes of all time. Let me show you why. I also used to hate it. I used to be just like you, but then I saw the light, and now it's such a perfect episode. It's such a feel-good episode. It's got some of the strongest emotion from any episode ever. Like, it's powerful stuff, and you know, I could take you through Boom and tell you, just pause it on like every moment and be like, this is why this is bad, this is why that's bad, this episode doesn't work, but that is of no value. Like, Boom sucks, but I shouldn't be convincing anyone of that. I need to be convinced to love Boom, just like you need to be convinced to love Fear Her. Boom sucks. I hate it so bad. It's such an ugly episode. And everything about it is just the worst. Okay, anyway. Let's get on with the show. Whoa.
To select audio navigation, press enter now.
I'm not gonna press enter. Alright, so I'm gonna watch Fear Her. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? So, I used to hate Fear Her like everyone else, but now I love it, and it's one of my favourite Doctor Who stories. So every time I have a thought about it, I'm going to pause it so you can see into the mind of a Fear Her lover. Hell yeah. It's just a nice vibe, isn't it? Like, this whole episode is just the Doctor and Rose vibing away, like, you know, it's such a low-stakes story. Like, everything's just bright and happy. Usually that isn't my vibe, but I don't know, like, you know, this is like the calm before the storm. It's just a nice episode. It's Rose and the Doctor enjoying each other's company. And they both know that this is a low-stakes episode, even though the world is almost ended by the end of it, which is wild. But yeah. So look at all these colourful characters. We've got the council man, who's like the ultimate meme man. Look, it's her. I don't even remember who she is, but you know, is that guy. And it's the kids who, you know, gets drawn. I don't know, it's just nice, isn't it? This whole episode is just lovely. Wait, I said all that, and you didn't hear? God damn it. Alright, so like, you know, we see the lovely street life, and then it's like, ooh, missing poster, and then suddenly, dang, and I love it. Like, I love Chloe Webber so much. I think she's amazing. And like that sort of the isolation that she feels is like, this first shot of her is just dripping with it, you know. This is art, you know. Someone who feels isolated, wants friends and stuff. I don't know. Looking longingly out. Got a kind of gremlin vibe. I like it. But also this is just beautiful. Like, just the composition, the silhouetted hand with the light kind of just like slightly shining through on the edges of the hand. It's phenomenal. Oh my god, it's the granny. She's the best. You know, she tells it like it is. If you like that, like, psychic kid from Family of Blood and Human Nature, you should love this woman. She's, you know, she knows what's going on. She can sense there's something fucked up going on. Yeah. She's probably his daughter? They come from a long line of psychic humans. Oh shit, it's her! I've seen her in something, I don't know what it is, but like, I recognise her. Who is she? Alright, okay, so Chloe Weber feels isolated, but like, look at this old woman trying to tell everyone to like, be scared, and everyone's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, get in! You know, that kind of, just the social isolation, like, paralleled from her to Chloe Weber. I'm sorry. This is a massive vibe. Same. Okay, so this shot is art, you know? Like, clearly there's, like, something up the stairs. It's creepy, you know? It's an effective shot, you know? And it's fucking artistic. You've got all the beautiful lines. Just, it's a sumptuous shot. And then you've got this shot coming up. 3, 2, 1. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? Isn't that just phenomenal? I love it. Alright, I feel like I'm gonna just be pausing it every fucking moment of this thing. But like, this shot, just, you know, like, the turn away from the brightness of outside and the aestheticness of this shot. It's such a beautifully lit thing. I don't think this camera's really capturing it, but like the shine off that pink notepad, the vibrant blue. Again, just the lines are so beautiful, you know? Everything's sort of at a sloped angle, and everyone knows that any angle that isn't a right angle is a queer angle. So that's good. It's just a symphony, isn't it? It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful episode. Like, I never think of this as a beautiful episode, but like, goddamn. Okay, this is hype. The way she's like, no, what are you? Like, that's a hell of a question. And then just this return to this shot, which is just dripping with atmosphere, you know? And you know that she knows. Like, the amount of information they give you at the start, it's not like bullshit episodes like Flatline, where they just... It's just someone screams and, they're dead, and, oh, they're in the wall or something. It gives you so much of the information here, and it's... yeah... No faffing around with bullshit cold opens. This is like... This is where the shit's going down. She's dealing with some intense feelings. Like, she's excellently acting this. Magnificent. That just runs the camera. These titles. Look at that. Goddamn, does that look good on camera. This episode is my ultimate good time episode, you know? It's low stakes, even though the world almost ends. It's just nice. And I know it's got, like, dads being abusive kind of vibes, which doesn't sound good vibes, but, like, just look at this gag. Like, doesn't that just set the scene? Alright, yeah, so this is the secret sauce of why this episode is amazing. Like, the episode's basically designed to be, like, hyping us up for the Olympics, because that's what the BBC wants us to care about. Because the Olympics are going to happen soon, isn't that exciting? And I remember writing stuff for an organisation that, you know, we were just trying to shoehorn in the relevance to whatever event is going on, and this episode tries so hard in a way that reminds me of when I did stuff like that. You know, already the doctor's like, oh yeah, this takes me back to the first Olympics, you know, when we were just slinging mud. I can't remember what he's saying at the moment. But like, I just love, they're really, really, really trying to shoehorn in the Olympics and trying to get us pumped for it for some reason. It's just a quirk of this episode that I adore. It's like pre-show hype for the Olympics for some reason. London in the far future, 2012. I love just, Rose is like, wait, what's going on here? And there's a guy putting up the missing poster, and just like the sort of suspicious look he gives us. Like, did you steal these children? It's a good scene setting. Alright, so I love the doc just being like, what's going on? Missing children, gotta be aliens. And wait, it's cold. Yeah, and he's just like, isn't this the most idyllic street ever? Like, do they even come back to the fact that it's cold? Or is it just... Are we just meant to just assume that's the UK? Of course it's cold, Doctor. Are you not used to London by now? Yeah, that is quite a Jodie face scrunch, isn't it? Anyway. Okay, so Rose is like, what would make a person steal children? And the Doctor's like, why the fuck would you think this is a person stealing children? What would a person have use for children for? What are you on? Are we existing in the same universe, Rose? Clearly aliens are afoot. Come on, Rose, catch up. This is meant to be you at the peak of your arc, like, so used to all these travels, and yet, what human could have done this? I just love it, like, idyllic, I say idyllic, I fucking hate the suburbs, but, idyllic suburbs, people, like, looking at you, scurrying away, and you get this weird sound effect, and you're like, oh shit, the Doctor's just been taken, and then you see this shot, and it's like, oh yeah, he is taken. Wait a minute, there he is. I don't know. This episode's a lot of light fun, isn't it? I don't know. Okay, the council van guy. There are 2 council van people there. What's going on? I bet one of them's an alien. Like, I do love the low budget vibe, Oh, an idyllic street. I know, I don't actually find it idyllic. I hate the suburbs, as I've said before, but like, I love it. It's like, how could this innocent street be sinister? And then you've got like the fucking British flag, and it's like, yeah, that is kind of sinister. Anyway, yeah, this is great. Like, this is an episode that is just a good time on the level of The Unicorn and the Wasp. That's the kind of good time this episode is. It's just nice. But it's like, it's not just like The Unicorn and the Wasp, it's like The Eaters of Light. It's just a nice... Eaters of Light, again, had like universe-ending threat. But it just feels like the most low-stakes thing ever. And that's just kind of pleasant, You don't feel like it's going to end the world. It's just, something's up on this street. Guess we're gonna encounter lots of characters here. You know what? I miss my pre-estrogen days when my fingers were more lanky like this. Like, all these shots are fucking beautiful, Really dynamically framed. I miss having fingers like this, I think they looked cooler and prettier. Well. The sacrifices we make for gender. Come on, that's a beautiful shot. Oh my god, okay, I swear this is like the like next time we even see the council van. Where's the other council person gone? Why isn't this guy worried about it? Is it... Right, okay, I should stop asking questions about the council guy. Because you know I will develop a theory about why there's like an alien thing going on where he can like duplicate himself or something, and it's going on at the same time, and no one notices this because there's like a more exciting mystery. Maybe, this is just like fun background details. It would feel like a Chibnall story, just like lots of stuff that could be expounded upon, but just isn't. They just, that there'll be just a duplicating alien, and that's just how the world is. It isn't essential to the plot, and that's cool. That's good world building. Okay, now look how just unbotheredly Rose runs here. It's just like, I was barely trying to run, now I'm just gonna stroll. I don't know. I like it. Wait, are you kidding me? Is this when he gets his first line? Holy shit.
There you go. 58.
Like, okay, just to talk about this idea that he might be an alien a bit further. Alright, in the Star Beast, there's a soldier who's subtitled named as Soldier, implying that maybe UNIT just sort of duplicates soldiers, a bit like the clone army in Star Wars, and they're all just called Soldier. Like, none of them have an identity. The soldier is subtitled in all caps as Soldier. And that already sort of maybe implies a kind of, it's more a thing that's produced than an actual person. But the real clincher is here, when she says, "It's good work, soldier." So, usually soldier wouldn't be capitalized like that, so why is it capitalized unless this soldier's name is Soldier? Just think about it, you know it to be true. She's calling them soldier because they were created by the government, genetically engineered to be a soldier. Alright, go off back to the video. So, what if the council do a similar thing where they just like clone people and they don't even get names? Like, does this guy ever get a name, or is he just the council worker? Maybe everyone who works for the council in the Doctor Who universe are duplicates. Like, you may not be taking me seriously right now, but if you think about it, his sole focus in the whole episode is serving the council and how beautiful it is to make a road that's, the council will be proud of. I don't know, like, he's the council guy, His one motive is to serve his maker, the council. Alright, so he's helping move the car at the moment. Like, look what a good guy this is. Is anyone really this committed and good? Would anyone really push a car for a person? What a bro. What a committed to the council job he is. Alright, okay, so check this out. Like, this whole episode is doing this cool silhouette thing with hands, where, like, the light is always just, like, shining around them. I think it's really cool, because, like, if you look at my hand now, it's not, like, lit up in the way that hand is lit up, but, like, Chloe Webber's did that. The Doctor's did that. Is this just what alien hands do? Alien hands are glowy. Why didn't we notice this? Alright, don't you think his hand looks kind of like a little space critter? Like, it looks like the Meep throwing its arms in the air going, "Ah ha 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 ha! The world will be mine!" I don't know, maybe that's just me. It's adorable, isn't it? But yeah, it's a good shot, Like, this episode is full of just great shots. Like, the Doctor's wonder at stuff is just, he's just having a chill time. Does this look like the face of someone who's worried about anything? Does he think this is going to be a world-ending threat? It will be. But does he know it? Like, fuck, does he know it? Okay, screw it, this is a great joke. This guy's like, what's your game? Doctor's like, snakes and ladders? Squash? And he's like, I'm being facetious. There's no call for it. Like, you know, I forget how good Tennant's Doctor is. I always just, like, raked him as, like, you know, one of my least favourite Doctors. Possibly my least favourite mainline Doctor, but, like, nah, he's good, and I forget how good he is. Just the delivery of this joke is just beautiful. It's spot on. It's a symphony of words and acting charisma. Do you think we're meant to pick up on him being like a council duplicate, and it's meant to be like a red herring, even though we've been shown that it's like in the house that it actually is going on in? Like, are we meant to be like, ooh, what's going on here? I bet we are. Again, like Rose, as well as the Doctor, she's just vibing, you know? Just casing the joint, just doing detective stuff. She does not have a care in the world. I know, like, the whole episode's got this sort of like, oh yeah, everything's bright and sunny, but underneath it's all sinister. But, like, it means you just get to enjoy the bright and sunny, nice atmosphere. Living in suburbia was never this nice. Oh my god, he's plugging the Olympic torch. He's like, oh yeah, all of this is going on because the Olympic torch is coming by. And it's like, oh yeah, the Olympics is coming up in however many years. That's exciting. Imagine if I got to see the torch. What if it came down my street? Wouldn't I really feel a part of something? Wouldn't that just make you feel special? The Olympic torch. Wow. In London. That's where I am. I mean, it's not, but like, you know, woo. It's where I was born. The big Olympic torch, where small people like us can look upon its flame and imagine ourselves living a life better than what it is. I don't know, just like, you know, such an average suburb, but, you know, for one day, one moment, we will have greatness pass through us, and this will give meaning to this existence. I don't mean to harp on about this fairy, but, like, you know, he says everything's got to be perfect for that day. And, like, is he not the model council employee? Almost a bit too perfect? Wait, there's the council person. Okay, they're not a clone. That's, well, it scuppers the idea that they're a clone, but nevertheless, they could be duplicating, you know? You can duplicate without, you know, always looking the same. Where did this person come from? They've just been absent for a while. Why have they come back? Okay, this woman gives me Planet of Giants vibes. Like, she's aware of what's going on, and everyone else is just ignoring her. She's like, it takes them when they're playing. She's just desperately trying to tell people what's going on. I don't quite know how to describe how it's similar to Planet of Giants, but, like, basically in Planet of Giants, everyone's made tiny, and, like, half the plot is the TARDIS team just going about being tiny and being like, oh, look at that big thing, and then the other half is just this kind of plot that's going on with regular-sized people, and like this, the plots barely interact. Like, when they do interact, it's like coincidentally, you know? And just this woman has that vibe of just being like, you know, like everyone else is just on their weird jaunt, and this woman's like, I know what's going on, listen to me. Look at her black eyes. Like, those eyes have seen into the abyss. That mouth has seen into the abyss, you know? and no one's paying attention to her. It's just like everyone's oblivious to this truth teller amongst them. Just like the TARDIS team in Planet of Giants were oblivious to the kind of sinister plot that was going on with the regular sized people. I love it. She's just like, why won't anyone listen to me? It's because Doctor Who depicts ageism very accurately. And then just the Doctor blunders into the scene just being like, oh yeah, I'm a police guy, I've got a police van, I've got a police car, whatever, like, yeah, I'm so policey, and this guy's like, no you're not. And it's just so low stakes. It's just all these fucking neighbours are just like, hey, there is a kerfuffle, what's going on here? Like, you know, he's... oh my god, that expression from Rose. Like, the Doctor just trying to pretend to be a cop, and it's fun, it's delightful. This is such a light-hearted bit of fun episode, you know? It's like The Caretaker, but good. Alright, so the Doctor's just presented his psychic paper, and he just, like, presents it for a fucking moment, and suddenly everyone's on board with him, and they're like, okay, cool, I guess you are the police. And it's like, I try to imagine what someone could show me on a bit of paper that could convince me that someone is what they say they are. Like, because you can just print a bit of paper and it says anything. So why would just someone flashing a bit of paper and like, I don't believe the police when they flash their credentials in front of me. I don't really know what I'm looking for. Would I trust him? Like, he's not even got a 3D badge. You know, maybe I believe the police if they've got a fucking 3D badge with a number on it and shit. I don't know if that's what they have. Shrug. But like, what could he be showing everyone that just everyone's like, oh, fair enough then. I love it. It's just the magic power of just, oh, you're doubting me, are you? Fine. Alright. Fuck this. Here you go. Cool. Good. Now everyone's just fine with me. It's fun, you know? It's just this whole episode is just a light, fun jaunt while the world's about to end. Alright, okay, so, I mean, this is, you know, accurate to the UK as neighbours just like, hey, let's start with the black guy. It's probably him and his sort. And the way this guy is, like, reacting properly, but this guy, I think they share a consciousness, because this, like, all his brain power is being used up at the moment, whereas this guy is just an entire blank. There is nothing going on behind those eyes. Watch. Look at that. Look at that. He just... there's nothing there. You know? Which makes sense if you're having to defend yourself. Like, the moments that you get of this white guy are just... there is nothing going on in that head. He looked at the camera. This is a knowing look. He's like... trying to tell us, like... no, okay, whatever. But, you know, just... he is utterly vacant. Because he is using all the brain processing power. Oh, no, you just believe in tongue. Sorry, just the white guy again, just the way he's just like... there's nothing going on in his head. He's not even defending the other guy, because they're sharing the same consciousness, and you can't think of two things at once, can you? Okay, this is a cute moment. They call back to it in The Vampires of Venice, which admittedly isn't the best episode, but you know, it's a cute moment in that episode. I love... oh my god, just Rose's just like not taking this seriously. She's like, really? Do I have to, Doctor? Sure, okay. You're doing your thing. I love it. You get to enjoy Rose's and Tennant's relationship. She's just like, yeah, this seems like we should hear out this old woman. And the way she just gives like a smile as she looks to Tennant, who's like, like, I don't know, it's so sweet. This is them both just enjoying their time together Like, how much have they actually got to do that? This is us getting to experience them being happy. It's nice. I mean, happiness is a myth and doesn't exist, but, it's a beautiful myth. I don't care who you are. It's Chloe! Chloe's back! It's the hand! Hell yeah. Yeah, same Rose. I want to see more Chloe. Like, you don't understand how important Chloe is to me. Like, she is the linchpin of why this episode got unlocked for me. Like, when I finally came to appreciate this episode, it made me cry. It was so goddamn emotionally devastating. Show us more Chloe. I'm with Rose. Chloe, show us. Yes, it's Chloe. And you know what? I don't know. I mean, I'm stuck in my flat a lot of the time, bad mental health, whatever. This is a vibe. I want to be out with the people, but I can't. I'm trapped inside, whatever. Alright, so my question is, why don't we ever get expected to suspect this guy with all the Union Jacks? He's a racist, isn't he? Why don't we suspect him? He sucks, right? I don't know, maybe the episode's just like, this is everything you need to know that this guy is meant to be on our suspect list. 'Cause he's a racist! Fucking flag shagger. Hiding behind his flag. It's not like this episode is greatly acted, it's a bit aggravatingly acted, but also, like, you can just see that they are just enjoying each other's company, and it's infectious. He's like, what does that smell like? And she's like, metal? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, hey, I did good. Have a treat. Boo. He's the real villain here. And, this is some pretty framing. I like it, Admittedly, like, these angles are very right-angled, so those aren't very queer, but the other angles are quite queer. I guess not the up and down one here. Actually, it's not a very queer angle, is it? But, like, the most prominent angle in this whole thing are the tops of the fences. So, it's nice to have queer angles. A lot of my photography involves queer angles. Like, if you're going to have an angle, might as well have it queer. Look how I'm filming this. I'm not doing it like this, because that's the cishet way of filming. I'm doing it like this, because it's the queer way of filming. Everything must be queered. Whee. Alright, so, more evidence to be added to my pantheon of evidence that Tennant's doctor is a trans girl. He says, look at the hairs on the back of my manly, hairy hand. Now, this is exactly how I would, joke about being manly when, I didn't realise I was trans. I would just, I'd joke about being manly and stuff because it was so patently absurd to call myself manly. And that's exactly what Tennant's doing there. He's like, oh, look at the hair. Look at the hairs on the back of my manly, hairy hand. Like, I don't know, I promise you, this is exactly how I would talk. Which, just adds to the pantheon of evidence that I have. I have currently 5 bits of evidence, but the fact that just more evidence comes in just still is testament to the fact that Tennant is clearly a trans woman. I can do a video on the trans nature of every doctor, or at least the modern doctors, if people want me to do that, because, there is a gender journey that the doctor goes on. If I can remember right, I don't even think that I think when Jodie's incarnation happens, I don't even think she's a woman. I think she might be agender at that point. I can't remember, but I'll have a look. Yeah, Jodie, agender. Admittedly... Yeah, there we go. I don't have any evidence for her being agender, but I mean, you just know it by stuff like she never gets used to calling herself a woman. You know, she still just refers to herself as a guy so much, and just like talks about it in a really blasé way, because like it's all just fucking nonsense to her. You know, gender. What is it? Never heard of her. You know. That's the vibe we get from Jodie. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Big trans moment. David Tennant is a trans woman. I guarantee it. You know, the Ninth Doctor identified as a chicken. And I actually kind of suspect that he was like a number of chickens in a trench coat. Okay, so my theory is that Eccleston is a trans girl egg. But yeah, you can see how the gender journey goes from like Eccleston being a trans girl egg, and then the egg cracks as she, you know, recognizes her gender as Tennant. So like, Tennant knows that he's a woman, but also like, you know, knows what Earth is like, especially in 2012 and whatnot in England, London. So he makes jokes about his gender, but like, or should I say her gender? But, you know, trans woman. This only adds to the reasons to love this episode. Alright, okay folks, here it is. Coming in on my left, Chloe Webber weighing in at however many pounds a child is. And coming here on my right, Pussycat. Who's going to win? Will the cat win? The linchpin of evil, the mistress of whatever. Or will it be Chloe Webber? Also, like, Mum, knock on my fucking door. Sorry, I know, like, I'm sure I can't be the only person who's pissed off at just privacy not being respected when living with the family that raised you. Knock! It's not hard. Okay, so the implication here is kind of horrific. She's, you know, only managed to draw part of the cat before it got taken away. So it's like, what if just the skin off the back of the cat got taken off as well as its head and legs? I guess at least it wouldn't feel the horror of having its skin ripped from its flesh, because its head came with it. But, you know, the head will still feel the pain of being decapitated. Like, this is a grisly scene we see outside. Chloe Webber destroyed this cat. It wasn't a contest. Like, that cat was doomed, and the mother has just sealed its fate to a horrible, horrible death. You know, when this cat gets returned to its body, half its body will be gone. Like, you can't reattach to a decaying corpse like that. You're just gonna be dead. You end up reattaching to, like, a decaying corpse. Alright, so the mum's like, hey, why did you make that kid sad? And Chloe's like, he made himself sad. And it's like, okay, so like the alien that's latched onto Chloe is used to like millions or billions or something of siblings or friends or whatever. So the fact that it only has Chloe and whoever Chloe can rope into these drawings is like, it feels so isolated on a level that none of us can or will ever experience. And it latched onto Chloe because she feels isolated too, and it vibes with that. But it's used to having like millions and billions of like its own kind to vibe with, and instead it has one person plus some unhappy prisoners, and it doesn't understand that they're like why they're unhappy, because what it needs more than anything to be happy is company, is, you know, it needs to be as unisolated as possible. So when Chloe says that, you know, he made himself unhappy, it wasn't her, it's because she just doesn't understand. You know, basically to her, less social isolation is the path to happiness. And, you know, just can't process this kid being sad because it's alien to her, because she is an alien. Or Chloe isn't an alien, but she's like, you know, bonded with an alien. This is like half Chloe, half alien that we're talking to here, you know? They literally say that's what he needs, more friends. And it's like, like just the misguided sort of just, this is what you need more friends, I'm gonna help you out, you don't know what's good for you. It's just so tragic, because Chloe's so isolated and she vibes with this fucking alien who's also feeling isolated. And it's like, and just the mum's helplessness, like, she doesn't know what to do, she's out of her depth. What is going on? Like, I don't know, like, it's powerful, you know, just, she needs help. And she's like a single parent, so she's trying her best, like, it's moving. Okay, but, like, of course this is an episode about the Olympics, and it only exists because of the Olympics. So the mum's just like, by the way, have you seen the TV? Look at that. Doesn't it make you feel part of something? Oh my god. Just the way she's like, oh yeah, they're gonna light the flame and then the whole world is gonna be looking at our city. And it's like, I know you're trying to drum up excitement for the Olympics, but like, it's really not as significant as you're making it out. You know? You know what? She is just the embodiment of the writer in this moment. Like, the whole show just being like, come on, isn't that interesting? Try to be interested in this, please. Chloe's just like, Chloe is us. We're just like, okay, whatever. But the mom's like, come on, doesn't that make me feel part of something? And it's like, no, it doesn't. Like, don't the Olympics usually just like wreck whatever city they turn up in? Like, it's just a massive waste of resources and leads to some like really bad stuff that goes on just in order to be able to host the Olympics. I don't know if that's what happens in the London Olympics, but like, I don't know. The mom's like, come on, Chloe, doesn't it make you feel part of something? And Chloe's just like, I'm busy, mum. And that's like, Chloe is us. It's like, come on, we're busy watching Doctor Who. Stop cramming how special the Olympics being in London is down our throats. I blame woke. Okay, so this is the very next shot. It's so beautiful. Like, there's like the shadows and the lights just like coming through the cracks of the window, the colours, you've got the light blue there, you've got the autumny colours there, and just the shadows. It's a gorgeous shot. This camera is not capturing how beautiful it is, but like, goddamn, it is beautiful. My god, I'm sorry, it's so beautiful, it's so beautiful. Literally all they did was just pan up slightly, and it's like just the wall of drawings is just a colourful mishmash of like disorderly order, you know, like, I love a mesh of, like, look at this, I love a big mesh of stuff on my walls, you know, it's my vibe. And this is just beautiful. It puts my room to shame. Wow, I love it so much. It is sumptuous. You know, most of the episode is just like blasted in sunlight. And you know, I've got a song called Fuck the Sun, and baby, I can sing that all year round. So, like, I vibe with just having my curtain drawn, having the sun barely peeking through, and it just is aesthetic as fuck, you know? Like, light is not conducive to prettiness. Like, the prettiest time of day is at night when it's raining and you've got some sort of reflected light on the ground and in the raindrops. Yeah. Alright, maybe this is me being cynical trans me, but it's like just all this media that just depicts parents, especially mums, as just being, you know, like, good and wanting what's best for you, and a sort of like, you know, like, even if they're like not ideal, like, you know, they're basically redeemable, and, you know, you should want to have a good relationship with them. And I want a good relationship with my mum, but like from my perspective, like, you know, she's like, hey Chloe, you may be like getting shut in a bit. My mum's like, hey Lucy, are you not being a bit too unchristian and trans? So like, it just digs at me. Like, I've had to like ask my mum to just, well, she's not allowed to know where I live. We have minimal email contact. I try and keep it as emotionless as possible, because sometimes parents aren't redeemable, but in media, they're always redeemable. It's like, you know, give or take, but like so often it's a massive trope that they're just like, you know, you've got to repair your relationship with your mum, you know, even if it's not perfect. It's like, you know what, we need representation of mums who just aren't great and aren't going to get better, because it poisons my mind to have parents portrayed in such a relentlessly sympathetic light. But also she seems like a lovely mum, and I would love to repair my relationship with her if she was my mum. Just her sense of powerlessness, like her attempts to connect with Chloe, it just feels so real, you know? Like, you really feel for her. Like, she's trying her best, you know? Like, the dad's gone and they're just trying to pick up the pieces of their lives after their dad, the dad's like fucking ruined it for everyone, you know? You think I'd do a rant about this for like, I don't know, that woman in the Space Baby ship? Nah. This is like one of the great characters of Doctor Who, you know, emotionally, like, this is, I connect. Alright, just to be clear, Chloe Webber is one of the all-time great characters of Doctor Who. The mum is too, but, you know, I'm not a parent, I'm someone who can easily feel lonely and isolated, locked up in my flat. So yeah, Chloe Webber is me. You know, like the mum saying, oh yeah, they're just dreams, you know that, they can't hurt you. And it's like, you know, that's like my mum being like, you know, this is just a phase. She hasn't said those words to me, but, you know, it's basically like, you know, these are just demons tricking you, you know? Or whatever she thinks, I don't know. You know, they... Right, I should try not to let my issues with my mum cloud this too much. Okay, I'm sorry, the mum's just like trying to help and stuff, trying to connect with the kids, and the kid's just like, do you want me to fucking draw you, mum? Like, this is incredible. This is such a dark moment where the kid just turns on the mum who's just trying to help. Like, it's such a powerful moment. I don't know, like, it's scary and dark, and it has an emotional realness to it. I don't know how to praise this moment anymore, but like, just by God, just that sort of dark turn from like, oh come on, look at the Olympics, doesn't that make you feel part of something? It's like, Fiona, shut up, I will draw you, you. So help me. Also, thank God, the cat's body is united. Alright, okay, so this next bit, Rose says, aren't you a beautiful boy? And the doctor's like, oh thanks, I was experimenting with back combing. And he's like, oh, you meant the cat. But like, I don't know, like, it doesn't feel like he was resonating with the gender thing that much. He's just like, he was resonating with the beautiful aspect. He's like, yes, don't head looks stunning. I don't know, I just got quite a gay vibe. Like, come on, do you not see the trans woman there? Like, oh, you weren't calling me beautiful. As being, you know, having gender euphoria for a moment and then just getting let down, it's devastating. I'm with you, Doc. Fuck cats. Cats get all the compliments that trans girls should have. That's my stance. But also, is it not just objectively better when a Doctor Who episode incorporates a cat? Like they have it in The Empty Child. That elevates the story. They have it in The Lodger. That elevates the story. They have it here. Cats are just delightful. It's good to see that the cat is in one piece. And my fears about that were wrong. Again, like this camera doesn't capture the gorgeous colours here. You've got the green of the grass, and it is the most Shire lush green ever. You've got the gingerness of the ginger cat, and just the green and the orange go so beautifully together, and they're all like kissed by the sun. And, you know, set against the grey tarmac, but like, you know, the colourlessness of the tarmac just highlights how colourful this bit is. And then like Rose's blue, whatever. That's, you know, it's not the focal point. The focal point is just the beauty of this. Like, my God. Mwah. You know what? I was worried this watch would make the story worse for me, but I think it's only making it better. At its peak, Fear Her has been number 3. Currently, it's number 4. So, is it better than Spyfall? Is it better than The Curse of Fenric? Is it better than The Waters of Mars? Like, these are difficult questions. Spyfall is the most beautiful story in Doctor Who. The Curse of Fenric is incredibly... It is just a phenomenal story. So much depth to it. And then The Waters of Mars... Whatever happened to Twice Upon a Time? You know what? This used to rain up top. I guess it fell on my last watch, which was my worry for this. But, you know, what if Fear Her becomes my new favourite story? That would be a tale to tell the grandkids, wouldn't it? That would be a tale indeed. Because all of these rankings are based on my most recent watch. So every time I watch them, they're going to change their position. Alright, okay, more about this cat thing. So, you know, Rose says, aren't you a beautiful boy? The doc says, thanks, I've been experimenting with backcombing. Oh, and he looks so unhappy when he realises she wasn't talking to a cat. And, like, you know, obviously, he doesn't even try to convince her that he's a she, because he knows this is Turf Island. So being called a boy is inevitable. But... you know, he clearly has gender euphoria from being called beautiful. And, like, but, like, you know, it's backcombing. So is that really a girl gender thing? But also, like, you know, there's many ways of being a girl. I guess he's not a girly girl. Backcombing, as you can see here, it implies quite a dykey vibe. Which is, you know, why he's into Rose. He's a lesbian. Tennant's doctor is a lesbian. They're a dyke. They're like a butch dyke, you know? Queer icon. Look, I get it. You need a big brain to appreciate Fair Her, you know? It has the jokes, it has the emotionality, but it's also got the big brain science stuff. You know, the kind of jokes that you can only appreciate if you've got a high IQ of like 150 or more. As the high IQ of us will be like, oh my god, that's a cat, and that cat's getting drawn, so it's going to disappear soon, and is that a box? Oh my god, what if it goes into the box, and it becomes Schrodinger's cat, where like, you know, is the cat still there or not? It's a science thing you wouldn't understand. So like, look at that, it goes in. Is there a cat still in there? I mean, you know, the Schrodinger's cat, you know, wasn't there like a 50-50 thing, so that like it would like get potentially poisoned but potentially not, depending on what quantum shit happens. Whatever. This is clever. This is big brain stuff. Because you hear the sound effects and you're like, oh my god, it's gone. It's Schrodinger's cat. It's a funny joke. It's a funny joke. Doctor Who did a joke, and it's good. Schrodinger's cat. What other show would you get a joke like that? This is perfect. Alright, so Rose is like, hey, Doctor, come and look, the box is empty. Look how he just strolls over with his hands in his pockets, like they are just treating this like this is a Tuesday for them, you know? This is a light time for them. Oh, shifty shit's going on, creepy stuff, everyone's disappearing, children are going missing. What a light adventure. I love that. That frames the whole relationship as just like this is their downtime, this is when they get to chill, and he's just nonchalantly just going over there, hands in his pockets, just jaunting over here, vibing with the weird ion residue. I don't know. It's just, I love how unseriously they're both taking this. The world is about to end, because Doctor Who cannot help itself. Of course the world's going to end in like the most low stakes story ever. I feel weird saying that this is the most low stakes story ever, given that children are being abducted. But it's the vibes, isn't it? It doesn't feel like they're facing off against Satan. It doesn't feel like the children are actually, like, the children are all paint drawings. They can come back. They're still alive, you know. We know that they're all right. It's not as sinister as it looks, you know. It's Chloe. Chloe's not a horrible man from the real world abducting kids. Yeah, just like, you know, Tennant's acting. As I say, I forget how good it is, and then he's like, oh yeah, the amount of energy it takes to take something out of time and space just like that, and he's like, oh, this baby was just like, oh, I'm having some of that.
This baby is just like, I'm having some of that.
It's a symphony of acting. I love it. This is reminding me how much I love the 10th Doctor, and like, people say that, you know, he's at his most insufferable when he's just being like happy with Rose. I mean, isn't he allowed to be happy sometimes? Just let him be happy for an episode. So my base is called Painkiller. Wait, no, it's not. It's Painbringer. Because she brought me pain twice before she even came into my flat. Look, I did a cool design, and also that stripe. Anyway, looks like this little critter has a friend that I just never noticed before until I looked at it on camera. Look at this little guy, this little robot guy, maybe like a baby Grievous or something. Like, isn't that adorable? They're just kind of like, it's like the Scream painting, you know? just kind of like screaming into the abyss. But maybe their mouth is shaped like that, like a robot. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Ugh. I love Painbringer. Who needs friends? I've got Painbringer. Alright, so like they're just talking away and you can still hear their conversation while you see someone watching, and I assume that's Chloe Webber's window, like you know who it is, so like it's like very contextful, sort of just giving us an insight into someone else, like a different character's perspective. I don't know, like I really value, even though this is like just a tiny ass, like it's not a long moment of this, I really appreciate moments where you get to see what the Doctor looks like from like the outside, rather than like being the main character of a show. I really value just like the depth of the shot, just the way like we can hear the conversation happening, but it's like a lot more faint now because we're seeing it from Chloe's perspective, and that's really cool, you know? Like in The Doctor's Wife, does the house ever, like do we ever see what anything looks like from the house's perspective? It's a rare kind of shot, and it's like beautifully done, you know? I don't know, it's so much more interesting than just like continuing the scene like this, which is already a great vibe. It didn't need this extra element, but it just relentlessly just adds depth to the whole thing, you know? I love it, you know? It does remind me of Sleep No More, in the way that just feels like a, you know, fresh look at things. I don't know, maybe I'm making too much of this one shot, but like, goddamn. The direction in this episode is actually amazing. Like, this could have just been a chat between the Tennant and Rose, but instead we're given this depth. This, like, extra meaning to the story. It's great. You know, like, extra lens on it. I want to emphasize just, like, how many aspects of this episode are good. He just makes a joke about, like, yeah, we're gonna have to find whoever's stealing small children and fluffy animals. Like, that's a good joke. He's just, like, so confused that these two things have happened. He's so unconcerned. Something is stealing children, Doctor. But he's just like, yeah, I don't know, we should kind of keep an eye out for what's nabbing children and fluffy animals. This is great. Like, sorry, I am enchanted by the set and the lighting. I think it's great. You can't convince me otherwise. It's absolutely magical, beautiful shit. Okay, so this is the first point in the episode where my heart just got wrenched a bit, you know? Because she's like, I'm giving you friends and you still moan. Like, because, you know, the alien's just used to fucking millions of friends. Like, why are you sad when you've got people, you know? All you need is more people. Why are you never happy when I give you more people? And it's just trying to help them. And it's so frustrated because it's just a kid, you know? It's not emotionally mature. She says, you're lucky, you're all together. You don't know what it's like to be alone. And it's like the pain of just the social isolation, the loneliness, that the alien feels in ways that are so far beyond what humans can feel. Like, presumably Chloe's able to feel that too. And yet, like, even though it's like, you know, clearly they vibe together, clearly, you know, even though it's probably feeling it a lot more severely, Chloe is still feeling that very intensely. And like, yeah, just like, you don't know what it is to be alone. I don't know, it's sad. Because you can feel the emotion of the alien, and when you know that why it's like this, it's devastating. Like, oh my god. This shot coming up, like, they're like, I'm helping you, and they look utterly unhelped, but also the aesthetics on it is just perfection. And just, I love it. You know, she is kind of scary. Too much power for one shot. This is a good shot. I don't know, like I just want to explain just how I love every fucking moment of Fear Her. Like the way that I don't know, like there is a gravity to, like, it's like Rose is the gravitational center. That is just a sumptuous, beautiful shot. Wait, isn't this when the scribble monster turns up? Fuck yeah. Like, this is an all-time classic villain, the scribble monster. Like, this is improved massively when you know what's coming. Like, FUD. She's like, oh shit, I thought that was a cat, but no, it's something serious, it's something scary and terrifying. Oh my god, the way she's just like, not gonna open it, not gonna open it. No, I'm the Doctor's companion. I love this shit. Fuck it, I'm opening this. This is like, she's basically just doing what we all want to do, which is live in Doctor Who. She is the audience insert, you know? We want to live in the Doctor Who universe and not actually live in it. We don't want the horror, but we want the excitement, you know? We don't want to actually see people killed in front of us. We want to act as if it's a show, which is basically what the Doctor and Rose are doing. They're not taking this like a serious situation. They're like, this is a TV show and goddamn am I having fun in it. Like, yeah, I shouldn't open this door, but you know what? I'm just here for the vibes. Let's see what happens. Like, it's great. The perfect audience insert. And it's like all this build up and you know it's just a scribble monster. And like, yeah, they're great because they're crap. But like, come on. Is that not unique? Come on, after Flatline, do you not appreciate this? Like, it looks utterly visually distinct. Like, I think it is a bit too wiggly abouty. Like, I wish it was more of a distinct object and not just juttering between lots of, you know, like flashing about, changing its form a bunch. She caught it like a Pokeball. Okay, I'm sorry, but the reason I'm sorry is because, well, I'm 14 minutes, 11 seconds through this episode. How long is this video gonna be? I mean, ever since I had the idea to just do a video in this format, I was like, the only story I want to do something like this for is Fear Her. Like, the only other story I could be this hype about, this relentlessly, is the Halloween Apocalypse. There's so much more depth to get into with Fear Her. Halloween Apocalypse, it's like, that's awesome, that's awesome, that's awesome. This is like a fine wine that apparently no one knows how to drink, so I am like the sommelier of Fear Her, and I will teach you how to appreciate it. You know, you gotta give it a good sniff, you gotta jiggle it about, and yeah, I don't fucking know. By the way, does anyone know about the Golgo 13 TV show? The episode about the wine? Because that's my favourite episode in it. It's an episode written about wine experts by someone who clearly doesn't know anything about wine. And it's great. Golgo 13, the anime, is kind of amazing. And I recommend it. And the movies, like the anime movies, are amazing. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. This shot, whatever, it's not very pretty at all, it's just kind of ugly, whatever. And then, pajam! It's the most beautiful shot of the Tennant's TARDIS you've ever seen. So moody. You know, this lighting, whatever, but that lighting, just like, you know, this isn't good lighting. I mean, it's fine, actually. It's got really loads of different kinds of yellows, and that's actually really cool. But doesn't hold a candle to this. This is the shit. This is what we came here for. Let's get this director back. I'm going to see if they did anything. Alright, I'm just doing some research. The director for Fear Her directed the entire third series of Torchwood. This is the series of Torchwood, unlike any other series of Torchwood. Like, they directed the entire third series of Torchwood. people talk about this season like it's one of the greatest things ever put to TV, and like they're not wrong. Even though like it's not the most rewatchable, but like, yeah, come on, I'm not just plucking shit out of nowhere. This direction is amazing. Alright, let's have a look. So we've got The End of the World, which, surprisingly, that was not an aesthetic episode at all. Does this have 42? Cool, no. 42 is like the ugliest episode of Doctor Who ever. Right. So Children in Need Special kind of sucked. Tooth and Claw was the worst. Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead, The End of Time, Fear Her, The Girl in the Fireplace. These are legendary stories. Like, I'm sorry, you can't convince me that the Master shooting lightning bolts out his hands is not the coolest shit you've ever seen. Alright, just appreciate how pretty that looks, you know? I just flick to it on the camera and it's like, yeah, suddenly the camera's happy. Isn't that nice? You know? There's the real world and then there's something beautiful here. That's the power of Fear Her, especially on, CRT TV. It looks, mwah. I don't want to harp on about this too much, but like, this is beautiful. And then this is the kind of ugly colouring that you expect in the season 2 finale that's just coming up. Like, this is so ugly. And then, like, I was right. The yellows are actually phenomenal here, and the camera captures it quite well, you know? It's just a symphony of different shades of yellow. One of my favourite things that paintings can do, or like drawings in general, is just having pretty much one colour and just doing lots of different shades of it. And, like, that's a really good vibe. Let me show you. Alright, look at this. Absolutely beautiful cover. And it's all just different shades of green, and it's absolutely beautiful, you know? That's this. But this is doing it for yellow. This does it for green. Like, isn't this the the most beautiful cover for a book you've ever seen? By the way, this author, very good, does incredibly aesthetic stuff. Look, I know it's a cheap effect, but this is just a fun shot, you know? If you want to hear some criticism, I think it's a dynamic shot, so I appreciate it for that, but, like, it's quite an ugly shot. Everyone's shot in just weird proportions, like, you know, Rose is, like, down there and Tennant's down there. It's, like, some sort of weird security cam kind of vibe. I don't know, like, everything's just contorted a bit weirdly, and I don't like it. So there you go. There's an aspect of Fear Her that I do not like. You know, I don't even think of this as an aesthetic episode. I think of this as a visually ugly episode. So it's always a nice surprise to see it be so delightful. Apart from this really ugly shot, which, you know, it doesn't linger for long, so, like, it's fine. I'll play it now. There we go. Gone. But, ugh. Oh, look, they're so close. And, you know, they were, like, physically bumping up against each other when they were walking behind the fences. It's sweet, you know? They're just incredibly comfortable with each other to the point they're just, like, pure dead physically close to each other. It's sweet, it's nice. I don't find them saccharine. I find them really enjoyable when they're actually just vibing away, you know? Yeah, I love how Rose is, like, deducing that it's Chloe with, like, no information. She's like, oh my god, a scribble is like when you scribble something out in a drawing, like a child's drawing. And when she realises, as she says the words child's drawing, she's like, oh my god, it's in the street. It's the child who seemed a bit creepy. When she tried to explain it to the doctor, he's like, of course. And then he's like, wait, no, what? The reason I'm talking about this now is because they just, like, you know, he's like, are you deducting? She's like, I surely am. And they just have a bit of fun, and it's nice just seeing them vibe, you know? They're just enjoying being in the episode. Like, they know it's an episode of Doctor Who, and this is how we want it to feel being in a Doctor Who episode, rather than the horror and fear and terror that would actually be what living in a Doctor Who episode would be like. This shit would traumatize you. Like, but, you know, we all want to be the companion, because we all think of living with the Doctor, like how Rose is living with Ten, you know? Like, they're just vibing away. It's like, oh, children are being abducted. Seems like a good time. Look, I just want to say, she is perfectly acted. The mum is perfectly acted. She is amazing. Love it. Also, it's just interesting that they've got the same shot again, but it seems a lot less foreboding. I guess because there's like lots of lights coming through and Tennant and Rose are there and it's like, yay, the day is going to get saved and it's less foreboding. I love the reuse of this shot, you know, it's a good shot, it's good lines, it's very evocative, having the angle be from up the stairs. You know, when I think of Fear Her, I think of this moment.
Hello, I'm the Doctor and Mrs. Rose. Can we see your daughter?
Just them having the door open to them and they're both just smiling away. Like, they should be a lot more serious about this, but instead they're just enjoying being in Doctor Who. Like, I don't know about you, but I have dreams that just make up Doctor Who episodes, and like, they're a good vibe. They're not terrifying. Like, I had a dream where I was in The Caretaker last night, and, you know, expanded The Caretaker in ways that The Caretaker doesn't usually get expanded on, obviously. But it was a good time, you know? I was just living in a Doctor Who episode, vibing away with the story. That's what they're doing. This is great. I'm sorry not to just hop on about the jokes all the time, but the way they just stroll off when the mum's like, no, you can't see my kid. They just stroll off and knowingly just, they know the mum's going to be like, wait, what? It's just entertaining. It's a well done joke is what I'm trying to say, you know? But again, it feels like they know they're in a Doctor Who story and it's like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It's like they're acting like they know they're in just a light, fun episode. And I love it. Like, the reason I'm pausing this so much is because people give this episode so much shit. I don't know what people like and what people don't like, because they just seem to despise this. But, like, the way the Doctor's just like, oh yeah, okay, no, don't worry about us. We'll just let you get on with it on your own. And just like the way he knows that those words are just going to dig into her and she's going to be like, please God, just help me. It's a vibe and it's funny and
Sorry, we'll let you get on with things.
like, he's got such a smile to him because the Doctor is enjoying this episode as much as we're enjoying it, which we should be enjoying it. Yeah, I guess we're not all enjoying it. Well, I'm enjoying it. I'm loving this. This is phenomenal. Phenomenal. I don't know, I just love the Doctor and Rose's vibe. They're just like, they're here for the lols. Like, they turn around and walk away again, and when she's like, wait, like, just in unison, it's satisfying. Like, how do you just... It's hard to just pause a joke and be like, you know what, that's really good. But it's great, you know, it tells you about the... Like, it's incredibly characterful. It's not just a joke for joke's sake. And, like, the happiness on him when he's asked if he can help her, and he's just like, yes, I can. Like, that's, like, ultimate Doctor vibes, isn't it?
Yes, I can.
Like, he is so happy to be asked for help. Because he really wants to help, and that's like, oh, it's such a doctory moment. It is perfect. Look at that little face. Oh my god, we're never going to get through this, are we? Just look, after that moment, and suddenly, let's go back to the Olympics. Gotta remember the Olympics, isn't it exciting? The Olympic song is definitely connected to this episode thematically in any way whatsoever. It's not. Not that I can tell. I don't know, maybe it is. It's just a backdrop for, like, dramatic shit to happen. Like, we're meant to be excited about this. Oh my god, I can't wait for this to actually happen. For us to see someone run with a torch. Like... it's adorable how much this episode just tries to make us care about the Olympics, and I just do not. And I'm guessing other people don't either. And It's funny to me because I used to have to try and do stuff like that too, but no more. No more. They're just like talking lightly, like the doctor's like, oh yeah, let's talk to her, and the mum's like, I should check on her first, and then the doctor, after being so fucking light and breezy, suddenly gets so intense.
Why are you afraid of her, Trish?
And he says, why are you afraid of her, Trish? In such a just like, okay, let's cut the fun bullshit. It's, oh my god, it's so intense. It's like, to know that the mum is afraid of the kids is just like, I don't know, that's intensely evocative, isn't it? Like, that feels kind of perverse. God, and just the emotional intensity of this. This is, you know, you think you're just the doctor and the Rose are vibing away, and you're vibing away like that, and suddenly the doctor's like, you're afraid of your own child, what's going on? I'm here to help. Like, God, this emotional turn from the doctor, it gobbles up all of that time well spent where we're just having fun and vibing away, and then just like being like, this is incredibly serious, I am going to treat it seriously for a moment. Like, it's an incredibly serious, intense, emotionally complex situation. This is great. This, like, there is no bad guy in this episode. There's no one who's evil. Like, there's so much depth to this episode. It's not like she's afraid of Chloe because Chloe is evil. Chloe wants to help people. She's, I love this so much. I love this, I love this, I love this, I love this, I love this. And her response to him is like, I want you to know that she's a great kid, and
I'm sure she is.
like, just, I don't know, just the emotions here are suddenly incredibly serious. She's like, before you see my kid, you need to know that she is actually chill. Like, I know she seems kind of evil, but I believe in her, and that's nice. You know, a mum believing in their kid. Who can imagine such a thing? I should stop talking before I say even more stuff. My mum finds my music humiliating. Like, actually, in fairness, the last thing I did that my mum thinks was good was some art when I was 5 or 7 or something. So I don't know, I think I was, however old I was, I think I was like not dissimilar to Chloe's age. So, you know, she's still supportive of this kid that she can idealize before the kid actually grows up and becomes someone. Okay, I'm getting distracted again. Okay, like, I really don't like what happens here. Like, for Rose, I hate her as a character for this. Rose is like, oh, that's nice that you think Chloe's a nice kid. She, like, the mum's saying, like, you can see her, I just want you to know in advance. But Rose is like, you know what, I'm going to do some sleuthing about your fucking house.
Can I use your loo?
She's like, can I use your loo? And she's just sneaking about, like, this...
Crying?
She needs help, and Rose is going behind her back. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, I guess, like, kids have been abducted, so, like, what the hell's going on? But also, like, I don't know, this family's nice, you don't need to be sneaking about their house. I don't like that vibe from Rose, it's just unpleasant. Oh my god, and we've had this shot all throughout the episode. They keep showing us the shot, and like we see Rose go up the stairs, and it's like, god, the setup for that is just great, you know? Yeah, just the way the mum's like, yeah, you need to know how chill she is, because at the moment she's not herself. And you get this kind of creepy sound effects, and Rose starts coming towards it, the room, and you're like, shit, is Chloe an alien? Is she being possessed? See, I hate this so much. I hate that Rose is hiding behind a cupboard. because she's just sneaking about the house. Like, I hate it because I hate tension in films or TV, whatever. I hate tension. It's a stress. I don't need more stress in my life. So this is just incredibly tense because Rose has just taken it upon herself to sneak about these people's place. I hate this about this episode. Nothing about this is good. I don't like tension. Screw this. I hate this on the level that I hate Shooty just scaring the space babies twice in a row. Just because it's funny to scare babies. Because, you know, in the same way that it's funny to shout at an autistic person and overload them with sound, you know? Like, I hate how his doctor does that, and I hate Rose doing this. It's, as well as just, I hate the tension, but it's such unnecessary tension as well. It's like, come on, Rose. This is so invasive. Also, that was a beautiful shot. Just those post-its, we get a fresh perspective on them, and they are so colourful. This is a visual delight. Like, it really glows in a way that, like, it's kissed by the sun, even though there's the, you know, it's not the most direct sunlight, but it's still beautifully, just the light really comes out of this shot. There is just such a shimmering sun to this. The sun's light just feels so potent in it, and it's so good. You know, like, the sun's light is a lot nicer than, like, normal lights, because normal lights are very harsh. If I have a light bulb that lights up the room as bright as daylight, it will be incredibly overloading, whereas daylight is nowhere near as overloading as that, you know? And, like, things do look quite beautiful in daylight, in a way that they don't under electric lights. So to feel the daylight on this and to feel the colours being brought out by the daylight is beautiful. And, you know, the colours still, while, like, the room's in a lot of shadow, that's also really beautiful because, you know, like, there's not much colour definition here, is there? You can't really tell the colours of things because we kind of sacrifice colour in order to see well in the dark. Whereas this shot just, like, shows us a dark room, but it's still filled with loads of colour, which means this is part of why this is such a magical shot, because it's showing such a shadowy thing in colours that would not be visible if this was in real life, potentially. Oh my god, okay, so, like, 2 shots later, and it gets suddenly beautiful again. Watch this, look at that, look how the blue just drenches your eyes in beauty. Like, it's just so phenomenal. Like, the contrast between, like, this fairly blandly lit shot, you know, just quite white or whatever, and suddenly, boom, all that colour. It really makes the colour hit hard, you know? Like, there's a beautiful red there. It doesn't really come through as well on the camera, but trust me, that's like a deep, vibrant red. And yeah, and also I'm a sucker for silhouette shots. Like, she's fairly silhouetted here. Like, that's beautiful. I love silhouettes. It's so aesthetic. And not to harp on this shot more, but, like, look at that. Look at the way it, like, looks into this area. The camera doesn't bring it out, but there's, like, a beautiful purple there. Like, just here, that is a beautiful purple, trust me. And, like, just the lighting there, it's more dark, but the colours are still so strong, which, you know, as I say, you don't get to see that kind of colour in low lighting. This is the magic of TV. Okay, I'm not the biggest fan of the dad in the cupboard, like the big dad drawing. You know, it's good enough, you know, it's vibey. But, what I want to point out here is just how beautiful it is that her shadow is so long. Like, I just find that incredibly beautiful. Long shadows are really aesthetic. Jesus. I love how cheap this episode is as well, like, that's just delightful. And, like, moving pictures, like, God, I would have 20 fear hers over, like, just Flatline. Flatline and Mummy and the Orient Express are overrated. Like, Flatline really squanders the premise in a way that, like, I don't know, I feel this does the 2D people thing just as well as Flatline does. You know? They do it alright. Could be a lot more interesting, but what they give us is neat. You know, someone made some YouTube poop of Fear Her, and there's one video that I'm going to hopefully link to in the description. I seem to remember like half of it is kind of like terrible, but like half of it is great. I highly recommend watching it. It makes a meme out of Fear Her, and it's great. Oh my god, just the way Chloe's like, I'm Chloe Webber. And it's like, oh shit, so like, of course, because, you know, it's half the alien, half the Chloe's personality here. So like, I'm Chloe Webber. It's kind of how the alien sees her, so that's sort of, yeah, that's a weird way of talking about yourself, especially as a kid. Like, you know, if I say, hey, I'm Lucy Licious, I goddamn designed that name like a work of art. Chloe Webber, that was just given to you. This isn't showing off your art, your beautiful art piece of a name. This is just, you just say you're Chloe. Everyone says you're Chloe. You know, as in like, everyone just says, hey, I'm Lucy, or I'm Chloe. It's good writing, you know? They're speaking, maybe I'm making too much of this, but I think it's good subtle writing, you know? It's not like the best thing ever, but I'm pausing this every time I see something that I think is neat, which is apparently all the fucking time. So like, I thought that was neat. I thought that was really neat, you know? Gives a depth to the interactions. Gives us delicious things to pick up on. We're not just... Yeah, this isn't just flat dialogue. It's wild that, like, the doctor's just trying to connect with her, and then suddenly she's like...
Stop moaning.
Like, they don't stop moaning. They never stop moaning, and just, like, talking about all this weird shit that, like, we don't understand. I don't entirely understand it still, even with the context, but... You can see just she's getting serious and just cutting the bullshit just like Tennant did before. And she can presumably see that within Tennant, that, you know, he's like being late and silly, but like in a way that he's trying to bring the situation to a serious point. And she's like...
You do that.
But people say that Chloe Webber is acted terribly. She's not playing a child though, she's playing a child... and an alien, like two consciousnesses at once, in control of the same body, you know, like, it's like DID, kinda. Like, two different people, which of them is fronting at any one time? How much are they fronting? How much are they in control? How much are they observing? Who can say? No, my point being that the Chloe Webber actress is amazing. She really conveys just... There is an otherworldly aspect to her that is really... I'm impressed. Oh my god though, like, the mum comes up to her and she gets so intense to her mum just being like, don't touch me, mother. And it's so good.
Touch me, Mum.
Like, that's so intense. You want to know something I don't like about this episode? I didn't have a dad like that, so like, you know, it's harder for me to relate. But just, I hate the tension here. And I think the dad was realised quite terribly. Like, everyone else moves about like a drawing. Can he not move about as a drawing? I guess they're alive, whereas she's kind of resurrecting him from death, but nevertheless. Mino likey, like the kind of blanket red here. Like, I find the red lighting just utterly ugly. It reminds me of 42, you know, just everything's red. It's very blanket, just let's blast it with a single colour. It's just ugly and doesn't feel true. And yeah, like, I feel like the dad just needs to do more than glow. Everyone else gets to move. This was a terrible move not to just have the dad, just the red light is just unconvincing. This does not look like the kind of light that's coming off the glow of that drawing, you know? Like, the intensity of red there, it looks terrible, absolutely terrible. I know I usually say how beautiful this episode looks, That is just nasty. The shots after that, you know, just white, uninteresting colour, but then like, boom, beautiful colour again, you know? So like this episode does have like some ugly shots, but often they just make the moments stand out more when they're suddenly really beautiful. Silhouettes, I love the silhouette, it's great. Chloe's got a great silhouette too, it's just, I don't know. Good TV. Okay, I said that the mum was a great actor, but I do not like how she delivers this line. Like, it just feels kind of weird and flat, and I don't buy it. It feels like it's an actor doing acting.
Long gone.
Like, but Chloe, your dad's long gone. Why, of all the sweet good things in the world, would you draw him? Like, she just delivers it badly. I don't know. For how expertly she's been acted so far, this just doesn't feel quite right. Also, just to go back slightly, when Chloe's like, I drew him yesterday, and the mum's like, who? And then she says, Dad, and the way the doctor in the background just looks round.
Dad. Your dad?
It's great. Like, he's like, ooh, Dad. Like, maybe he has some issues with his dad. Shrug. But it's just well framed, you know? Chloe's looking away from him, but you can just see him just being like, ooh, shit's got real now. It's well framed. I just think it's very nicely done, you know? The direction is thoughtful. The direction is pleasing, and it conveys lots of information with like all the shots it does. Well, not all of them, but it's good direction. Oh my god, the punch there. Like, Chloe's just like talking about shit like, oh, we need to stay together. Like, Mum's like, what's the matter with you? And Chloe's like, we need to stay together. And Mum's like, yes, we do, as a family.
No.
And then Chloe just shuts her down. She's just like, no.
Not you.
Not you.
Us.
Us. Like, fuck. Like, given just how sympathetic the mum is here, it just punches you in the heart. Oh my god. Per mum. What did mum ever do? You know, apart from clearly ignore your privacy by not even fucking knocking. But, you know, let's not focus on it too much. Actually, you know, there's a moment where, like, there's a bit where I don't like Chloe Webber's acting.
We need to stay together. Yeah.
Like, she has a kind of flat effect, and it is obviously, like, significantly the alien who's fronting. I'm just using DID kind of language for this, because I don't know what else to do. She is, like, you know, the alien seems to be more fronting here. I don't know, yeah, it does feel a bit wooden, but in fairness, she is, like, both of them are being a bit wooden at the moment. Like, for one shining moment, I can see how people see Chloe Webber, and just seeing her as really flat in a way that I saw a lot of Chibnall characters before I properly appreciated the Chibnall era. You know, but then you remember why she's like this. Because she isn't human. She doesn't interact exactly how a human would interact. And that's good, you know? If she doesn't feel like a child, then that's good, because she's an alien child fronting, and also presumably Chloe Webber's somewhere in close to the front as well.
Yes, we do. No. Not you. Us.
God,
We
just
need to stay together.
hits you like a freight train. Like, the turns that Chloe have just, in fact, like, this whole episode just, like, has sudden dramatic turns from just, you know, just, like, the tone gets so fucking serious sometimes. You know, just any time you, like, loosen up at all and get comfortable, the episode's, like, suddenly it's like, ooh, gonna get intense now. I love it. Okay, honestly, this bit's great. Like, the mum comes up to her, and her shoulders go up. Did you see that? Like, Chloe Webber's shoulders go up as sort of like, oh, don't touch me. Like,
Trish,
And then, like, the mum just ignores that, and the shoulders go up again as Chloe's just like, be gone, touch. Which, you know, is a very autistic vibe, and I don't know, I think it's well acted, and it's a nice subtle thing. Like, she does not like that touch. It's a vibe. I like it. Well represented. The only thing I don't like about it is that the next shot of her seems quite relaxed. I'm not particularly happy with her being so comfortable and relaxed in like this moment here. Also, it's just wild when the mum's like, wait, who gave you permission to come into her room? Get out of my house. And like, okay, actually, it does make me forget that actually, yeah, no, Rose did all this without permission. This is not cool. What the fuck, Rose? But the way it comes off, it's just like, she's just like, wait, what's going on? Why are you strangers in my house? Fuck off. Is kind of nifty. I don't know. It's just funny. She's like, wait, who the hell are you? Go, be gone. Go away. Oh my god, so the mum's just like, piss off. And then Rose is like, Chloe has a power. She is terrifying. I don't know how she's doing it. And like this is like made particularly intense because, as you can see in the next shot, Chloe, she is saying this right in front of Chloe. She's like, this kid has some terrifying power in front of the kid. Like, I don't know, that's very dramatic tension, isn't it? You know? Like, what the hell's this mysterious alien powerful kid going to do next? Even the like when Rose is like, hey, have you seen the drawings move? And the mum's like, nah.
Yes, you have.
And the doctor suddenly like joins in the conversation after ages of not being in it. And he's like, yes, you have. In the corner of every mirror, or whatever. You know, like, in the corner of your eye. Like, it's so... I love how he's just always on the side, just reacting to what's being talked about. And then suddenly he sort of interjects with words, and it's been built up so much because he's just not been talking much. Suddenly he just bursts into the conversation. It's like, oh shit. I don't know, it's great. Just this alien being providing sudden insight that, like, I don't know, it's just so cool. And it, you know, characterizes the Doctor great as just having alien knowledge and being open to more stuff. I don't know. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's cool that he's in the background just over her shoulder watching. Jesus, right? The Doctor's got so up close with the mum. And he's like being really intense, just laying out the situation. Their proximity to each other is intense and it's great. And he's being kind of nasty, but in a sort of like, look, cut the bullshit, this is what's going on in this situation.
I'm help.
Oh, and she's like, who are you? And he says, I'm help. And God, just, I love this episode's characterization as the Doctor. Just, you know, being someone who just wants to help people.
I'm help.
Like, there's such a warmth to him saying, I'm help. It's nice. And you know, it's a brilliant, like, relief after the tension of him getting all in her face, being like, but you never say anything, do you? Because who would believe? And she's like, who are you? And he's like, I am help. It's just, it's lovely. It's just, this, the emotional turns that this script have are phenomenal. They happen so much. You know, it just like every time it just like peels back another layer of emotionality to get even deeper into stuff. I don't know, it's great. The emotion in this episode is like onions. Onions are like emotions in this episode. You get it, they're both like onions. They both have layers. Also, if you don't think this is a great joke, with the Doctor opening a jar and nabbing stuff to eat with his fingers, and Rose is like, nah, and the Doctor's like, oh shit, is this not normal? I guess I should go with whatever Rose says here. That's a great joke. This episode is full of jokes, and they work. It's incredibly entertaining and incredibly memed. It's beautiful. Okay, actually, Rose's face looks kind of weirdly flat here. and I don't particularly vibe with this yellow and blue look, and the face just looks kind of flat, like, I don't know, like the eyebrows seem kind of flat. I don't know how to describe it. I don't vibe with it. You know, it's not the worst thing in the world, but also like, don't like it. Like, it's like she's very overlit. I think that's maybe the problem. Like, I love this shot, you know, it's not like the best shot ever, but the lines from the blind are, you know, they add some visual pleasure. And then you suddenly switch to Rose, and she's just been blasted with light, and it's so ugly. You know, it's like that monitor I showed you earlier, where I complained about how it was lit. This feels like that kind of lighting. Suddenly all the subtlety is just gone, the depth is just gone. Rose just comes off as very flat. I don't know, it's badly done. The colours, yellow and blue. They work so well, just in a sort of like evening-y kind of light. I don't know. It's beautiful. Because this is incredibly yellow. You can't see it on camera, but trust me, it is. I want to like this lighting. I could tell you why the lighting's great. You know, it's got shadow and everything, but it still feels overlit. I don't know. But then you get this shot, and it's so pleasing after like all of the yellow hair just like washed out. And then suddenly, boom, beautiful blue with vibrant yellow behind it. Again, this camera's not picking up the yellow half as well as it should be. This is beautiful. The brown of the skin, the blue of the duvet, the yellow of the wall or whatever that is, or the lights. This is sumptuous. I think like the blues and yellows, I know I was like complaining about Billie Piper's outfit having that colour scheme. I don't know, it's a lot more washed out with her hair and her clothes, whereas these are strong colours. Rose's outfit for this story is terrible. Hey, if you ever want to see what Tennant's Doctor would look like if he just wore black, here we go. Look at that, isn't that cool? Black looks good on everyone, right? I don't know, I think it was a good look, just the Doctor in black. It's got a very serious tone to it. I like it. Alright, so here we go. Ugly shot, and then just sumptuous colours, the framing, the rotation. The parallax, everything is just, the movement of this is so dramatic and beautiful.
That's one.
Like the colours, even the glint in her eye just adds to the beauty of this. Also, I'm sorry, but if you do not love when the Doctor mind connects with people, like, we have different tastes in Doctor Who. It is always great when the Doctor walks through people's minds, or they walk through his mind. Like, that's such an exciting power that the Doctor has. It's the best. It's so cool. Like, the idea of a mind melding, that's just a fucking magical concept, isn't it? And we get it in this story. That's so cool. I cannot wait to see what he's found out, because, I don't know, I've not seen this for a while. Okay, so he's kind of pushed Chloe away and made sure that the alien's the one that's fronting. The feels, the way she's just like, I want Chloe, wake her up, give me Chloe back, because they are so fucking lonely. This is devastating, this is emotionally destroying me. Like, just being separated, even for this moment, they're like, I'm alone, the horror of being alone, I should be with millions of others. I mean, that's a vibe. Look, this director's great, they're using a top-down shot, which they've, like, not done yet. And that's a really interesting, different shot. And it has meaning, because, you know, now it's the alien who's definitely fronting, so we're getting a different kind of angle on things. He was like, I demand to talk to you via the Shadow Proclamation Authority. I don't know. And she's just like, I don't care about any of that shit. And I just love it, because, you know, he's just talking to a kid, and he's like, I invoke the Hague. And the kid's just like, what are you... So, I don't care about the Hague. I'm sorry, when she like names herself, like her race, and the doctor's like just got such a sort of look of like, oh, this is incredibly sad. Just, it's not like, name yourself, Pyrovile, or, oh no, it's the Daleks, or oh no, it's the Cybermen, or the Mora, and I don't know, whatever. Like, this is something a lot more subtle and deeper and emotional. He's like, oh no, you're apart from all your brothers and sisters. Ooh, do you think this looks like a young Peter Capaldi? I mean, I guess it is. But also, like, yeah, don't you think? Peter Capaldi? I don't know, maybe I'm too face blind. But yeah, Jesus, like, just the weight in his eyes when he just realizes how sad it was. Like, this is the emotional crux of the story. This is like when you realize how intense the emotional this whole story is. I mean, beautiful as you can see, but yeah, this is going to be great. I'm going to pause so soon after. Okay, so she has millions of siblings, and the Isolus are empathic beings of intense emotion. So, like, I presume, like, more empathic than humans. Like, kind of, like, mind meldy. And, like, empathic and, like, of intense emotions. So they are feeling this isolation more intensely than you have ever felt isolation in your life. Like, isn't that horrifying? Doesn't that just speak to an emotional horror of this story that is so moving? Like, I don't know, I feel like we can all vibe with feeling lonely, right? It's an emotion we can all feel. I'm sorry, this is the absolute climax of the story, in my opinion. It's just, this is what made me cry, Like, just, Is there any episode of Doctor Who with emotions quite this intense? Oh, I don't know. Doctor Who's one of the only things that I actually, like, cry about. I am tearing up already. He says the Isolus are empathic beings of intense emotions. When they're cast off from their mother, which is, basically when they're given birth to, their empathic link, their need for each other, is what sustains them. They are sustained by their need for each other, and this one is utterly cut off from this. It's its lifeblood, like being around others, being socializing in some way, engaging in that social aspect. Like, they need each other. Like we need food and water. They need to feel connected to each other and be connected to each other because they have such an empathic link with each other that they're like constantly mind melding, presumably. He says they need to be together. They cannot be alone. Like people miss how intensely emotional this is. Like we're watching this thing die from isolation. Alright, so they're like children for like thousands and thousands of years. And Rose is like, don't you get bored? And it's like, nah, we play. And like, just the fact that just they never get bored because they're just socializing constantly because that's like their drug, that's their heroin. And like, when you hear what the game is, it does sound amazing. It's like, fuck yeah, I'd want to connect with people in that way. They use their ionic power to literally create make-believe worlds in which to play. Like, isn't that magical? Isn't that just fucking enchanting? Like, This is basically like they get to psychically make Doctor Who stories for them all to participate in the same way that Tennant and Rose are participating in Fear Her, just enjoying being in a Doctor Who story that's fairly low stakes even though the world is about to end. To be separated from people you've connected with as deeply as this, and as fun as this, and as playfully as this, and you used to have millions of these friends, and now you have one human, and you're trying to gather more to them. This is devastating. Come on, this is like such a horrifying look into loneliness. You know, that's why they had like the hand on the window at the start, looking on wistfully, because that's the emotion of it, you know? What the fuck? This is just so beautiful, right? Okay, so like, they keep talking about it, and it's like, okay, so yeah, make-believe worlds. So like, there's like filler dialogue here where it's just like, Rose is like in-flight entertainment, and then it's like, yeah, helps keep them happy. You know, it's like, hey, the dialogue's boring, and then suddenly it hits you with the next thing that they say, and it's like, it whacks you in the heart, and it whacks you in the funny bone, because goddamn is it funny. So after saying it helps keeps them happy, he then says, while they're happy, they can feed off each other's love. This is what we imagine the adipose are like. Like, this is so beautiful. Like, while they're happy being in each other's presence, they can feed off each other's love. Because they're so empathic and they all love each other so much. Like, and the sheer horrifying isolation that Chloe Webber's alien friend is feeling, and the fact that they can feel this depth of emotion and yet are drawn to Chloe. Clearly she is feeling that too, so intensely, and the fact that it's even comparable to compare Chloe's isolation to this intense, impossible sci-fi isolation that humans cannot conceive of. We are too mortal. We are too isolated within our own brains. It's an incredibly funny line. While they're happy, they can feed off each other's love. Like, that's just incredibly silly, but it's also just the emotionality of it. When you actually take the words seriously, this is devastating. Like, I want to be one of these beings. I don't want to be one of these beings that's lost and on their own. Sounds horrible. Don't like life being horrible. But, like, this is the peak of the episode. This is the absolute climax. Like, how far through are we? 24 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm not. I am. Like, while they're happy, they can feed off each other's love. It's incredibly silly, but it's incredibly emotionally real and just twists the knife in deeper about just how horrible this alien must be feeling, and that it finds Chloe Webber relatable, and that's why it's drawn to her. Like, that speaks volumes to how Chloe's feeling, and it crushes you, you know? It just takes your heart in its hands and it just squishes until you pop, you know? Okay, this bit's very silly in a sort of like, it's so bad it's good way. The doctor's like, so why are you on Earth? And they're just like, oh yeah, we're too close, we kind of fell off. But like, they just start drawing this crap circle. It's just a circle at the moment. Like, why is Why does this make him conclude already? That's a solar flare from your sun. Is it? Like, they even add some, like, lines here, you know, more jazzy lines, but you saw the subtitles. He had already started saying that that's a solar flare from your sun when only a circle had been drawn. That's hilarious. How can he tell from that? I love it.
Solar flare from your sun. Would have made a tidal wave of sun.
There is something pleasingly crap about the scribble people as well. Like, it's just kind of heartwarmingly crap. Oh my god, okay, so like they're just talking about like, oh yeah, only I fell, I'm alone here. I can't reach my brothers and sisters, I'm so alone. And when we cut back to this drawing, like there's so much more intensity to the drawing. The camera's not picking it up very well, but like, by god, this is such an intenser drawing now, like, and it just conveys the emotionality of it so much. Because I guess like these things that just float in space, the emotionality is their main world. So she's drawing emotions more than physical reality in a way. I don't know, I love how infused the emotions are into the drawing. This is a great episode. Also, I like that it's drawn in pink. Sue me, I like pink. Right, people don't like the Chloe Weber actress, and I don't understand why. Like, she plays being an alien very well, and then when she's playing being a human, see how different she acts. Like, she acts like a normal person, you know? Because she's acting as a human, not the alien at the moment. Like, the difference in acting is palpable, and I think you're treating her acting more under the alien's influence as if she's fully human. Wait, are they mind melded? Is Chloe mind melded with this thing? Or are they two separate? Oh my god, you know, you just get complacent with the dialogue for a moment and then it just hits you in the nuts again. You know, the doctor's like, oh yeah, this is very sympathetic, and the Isolus is like, I want my family. It's not fair. And it's not fair is just such a dramatic turn, and it's like, you know how the Slovena kind of like childlike, you really get the sense of this being childlike, and it's thinking, you know, it's not fair. You know what, life isn't fair and it sucks, fuck life. Yeah, I don't super vibe with the dad stuff. Oh my god, gay, your life must be. Relatable line. Yeah, no, I just don't vibe with the dad. When the dad stuff happens, I kind of switch off, which, you know, I really value people who super vibe with that aspect of the episode. Maybe I just need to think harder into my memories and find someone who does represent the dad in my life. Okay, yeah, I get missing someone abusive. Whelp. Yeah, okay, so she's saying that Chloe used to get the brunt of his tempo after he'd had a drink. Okay, I'm beginning to understand how I can relate this to my life. You know, people who are kind of abusive and toxic to me, and especially me in a way that wasn't visible to a lot of other people. Is that okay? I'm finding an emotional way of getting into this. Because, yeah, like, it's hard to get past the fact that the dad is just an unmoving, glowy-eyed, with far too much red light getting spewed somehow onto anyone who looks. Like, it's just an unmoving scribbling of a drawing that flashes. It's rubbish. Why can't the dad move at all? Come on. But yeah, no, I value people who connect more with this side of it. I'm not the person to come to for that. I'm the person to come to for like, oh, do you feel lonely? Yeah. oh, does this make loneliness seem kind of awful and horrible, but even more horrible than it even is? Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I can vibe about that. I love Tennant and Rose in this. Like, their dynamic is what I think of when I think of her. I just think of them having a good time. Like, this episode is just people having a good time and vibing. Even though, like, yeah, it's obviously a lot darker. If you notice, the Olympics has not become relevant in any way, really. It's just this background thing that's going on. And they try and make it more central to the plot later, and it's just wild. Like, how much they just try and shoehorn in the Olympics. Which is a strong part of why I like this episode. It just gives it, you know, something extra, an extra just thing to enjoy, as they try and convince you that the Olympics is the most meaningful thing conceivable, and we should all care about it. And you know, the fact that it's like the Isolus is a child and Chloe is a child, so like, you know, coming with the understanding of things as a child, it's like, you know, the emotion is very just, you know, the loneliness, there's a kind of purity to the loneliness, you know, like a kind of like just emotional honesty, you know, that comes across through the line, that's not fair. And like they just emphasize here about how they're kids who are lonely, and it's like, it's just an honesty and intensity and bleakness about that. I don't know. This is powerful stuff. This episode is, you know, it starts off just being light and fluffy, but like, it has an emotional core which is devastating. Like, Tennant says it's desperate to be loved, and it's used to a pretty big family. Like, you know, just, it's desperate to be loved, and that's why it's pulling people in constantly. Like, that's... Does that not rip your heart out? Just, and it speaks to like the childish sort of authenticity of emotion, the kind of uncomplicated honesty of it. Just the desperation to be loved is such a powerful vibe. Are we not all desperate to be loved? Yeah, so this episode is hilarious in many ways, and it's incredibly aesthetic, which is very surprising. But the emotional core to it is just holds it all together, and is like, yeah, this is one of the most emotionally intense Doctor Who stories you will ever see. And everyone just treats it like it's this embarrassment of a story. This is one of the greatest stories we have ever had. What the hell? This is the best. I'm known for just loving the kind of episodes that other people hate. You know, I've got a kind of contrarian vibe to my tastes in a way. But, like, can you not feel how much I love this? Like, would a contrarian really infuse quite like I am? No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't pause in every moment and just marvel over it. God, there is no story with more intense emotions, I think. This is like the end of series 10 level devastatingness, and it's just a throwaway episode. This story is unfairly maligned. It works on so many levels, and I can't wait for it to start getting into the Olympic stuff, because it is so funny when it does. They try so hard to make it meaningful. Oh my god, okay, so her family is actually 4 billion. So it's not millions, it is 4 billion, which is basically the size of the Earth. Which, yeah, okay, that makes sense that she tries to draw the Earth now. Like, God, just the plot is fueled by emotion. Powerful, intense emotion. And it's so tragic because 4 billion humans probably still wouldn't satisfy. The 4 billion humans, they're not happy, they're not empathically linked and feeding off each other's love. We're not as loving as that. We're not as empathic as that. Maybe if we were more empathic, we'd be more loving. I don't know, but it's devastating that they have to resort to humans who are just not going to be enough for them, They're used to so much more love, and humans have so much more complexity of emotion, Ah, my God. What a horrible fate for the alien and a horrible fate for humanity. It's a tragedy, isn't it? It's just tragic, and it's so dramatic, and, it's so goofy that she just draws the Olympic Stadium or whatever. Oh my God, right, okay, so it started already, trying to hype up the Olympics, telling us that the queue started a week ago for those desperate enough to be inside. I don't know if, how long the queues were for the Olympics. I assume you got the tickets in advance, but they're just implying that everyone just queued up to be in the stadium rather than getting tickets. And they've been queuing for a week. Because this is just the biggest phenomenon ever. People are going to be so excited for the Olympics that it's just going to take the entire country by storm. It's going to be the most significant thing that has ever happened to the UK. The queue started a week ago, it's a fucking original Star Wars movie. It's like the Phantom Menace. We're having the British public being desperate to be inside, to be a part of this history in the making, be in the stadium as the torches lit up. It's not that exciting. Because you've been told to hype up the Olympics in your story, so you do. You try everything you can to try and mine how meaningful the thing that you're told to write about is. And it's just kind of funny what you end up resorting to. Because, I ended up just making up stuff. I just was like, okay, this is so meaningless. I have to create meaning that didn't actually exist. They're just hammering home the point that there's so many people who've been camping out for a week that and there are lots of them. We're expecting a capacity crowd of 80,000, trying to convince us how oh yeah, this is going to be a really big deal. 80,000 people. I don't know, is 80,000 that many? I feel like protests bring us together more than this does. And just the way they're oh yeah, it's been a capacity crowd for this evening's opening ceremony. I have to say there's been, and they're just going to hype it up with the most absurd thing, I have to say there's been an unprecedented outpouring of public love for this in a way not seen since Princess Diana herself died. But instead it's I have to say there's been, and it's oh my God, come on, what are you going to say, this is going to be so hilarious. How significant is the Olympics going to be? This is going no, next scene, we need that pod. And just what it evoked there, it reminds you of Chibnall's writing, it's very evocative. It doesn't tell us what they're about to say. You just have to guess in your mind. That's the kind of writing Chibnall does, it just makes you want more. You're but that sounds so interesting, tell me more. And Chibnall's nah, you gotta just imagine what it might be. And that's kind of thrilling, why is Azure imprisoned as a human, presumably with some level of mortal life? Who is this guy who's the husband? What's going on? This seems like a lot less of an eternal prison. Tennant's just solving everything, and he's doing all the doctoring, just deducting, and it's yay, the doctor's here to save us. And then you see Chloe looking on, And it's like, oh shit, I know what she's going to do. She's going to draw the Doctor, and then the Doctor's going to be out of the rest of the episode. Like, this is going to be a Doctor Light episode for the last third of this episode, you know? Sorry, that's a beautiful blue to come into, you know? Like, the reds are kind of ugly and stuff, and then suddenly the blue just washes over you. Is it true that autistic people are particularly drawn to blue? Anyway, blue, soothing colour. Alright, I've given my opinion on red, I've given my opinion on blue. What about the green? Which, you know, to be clear, was the next shot, so it is related. I don't like it, I think it's rubbish. I think it's not aesthetic, I don't like it, meh. Okay, I'm gonna try pausing it less for every time it looks absolutely gorgeous, but like, you know, this looks so luscious, and then you move to this, and it's so luscious with the green lighting the yellow, and as we move to the yellow, just that green and yellow combo was so beautiful, and this is such a brief shot, but like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna try and pause it less just to rave about the colours and stuff, but my god, this episode is beautiful. Yeah, no, I think this is Rose's worst look in the entire run. You know, it's like pastels, but with no style. They just don't mesh. They're not bold enough. When Rose is like, I know what kids can be like, right, little? You know, and clearly she's gonna say, like, shits or something, but, like, she's like, fuck, I'm on Doctor Who, terrors. The Doctor really doesn't like swearing. Okay, also the gore here is great. Like, the body horror. Right? Here's a doll. Jesus, fuck! Their head got ripped off and now it's 2 pointed sticks. It's grisly, it's grim, it's abstract and surrealist, it's like weirdly evocative. I don't know, seeing someone's head get ripped off to reveal spikes. Like, tell me you don't feel something there. Okay, they're doing a whole scene where Rose is being really critical of the kid, and the Doctor's like, but they're a kid, and they're really lonely, and Rose is like, yeah, but fuck them. And it's like, the Doctor's like, but they're sympathetic, try to understand them. And Rose is like, nah, they suck. It's just she's entirely unlikable, and the outfit's terrible. Everyone remembers the moment in The Doctor's Daughter where the Doctor says, Donna, I was a dad once. But what they don't remember is in Fear Her, the Doctor says, I was a dad once. 2 seasons before. Who are you referring to, Doctor? If, according to Shruti, like, he will be a dad, so when was he a dad in the past? What does the Doctor consider them to be the father of? What are they the father of? What is the Doctor the father of? You know what, let's go on a little journey. Let's have a look at every Doctor Who episode from the start and see if we can find what he's the father of. What is the Doctor the father of? Okay, this is a question far too big for now. Let's get back to the story. Who does the Doctor think he's the father of? Because, you know, he's had kids once. Who? Who Doctor? Does he consider every civilization he's saved to be his children? Because without him, they would not live. Yeah, and he says, I was a dad once. So it's only one time that he thinks he's had kids, so it can't just be a civilization. It has to be a specific instance. Once. God, that just places so much significance. And obviously it's a reference to Susan, but now we found out that he's never been a parent to Susan, unless that's one of the past Doctors bursting through. Maybe Susan was parented by a Doctor before the Doctor's mind got wiped by the division. Okay, so this story not only treats the Olympics like something we need to hype up, they are hyping up their themes a bit too much. Like, fear, loneliness. They're the big ones, Rose. It's like, are those the two big emotions out of them all? Is that it? Like, you're just hyping up your themes a bit much, eh? He's just like, some of the most terrible acts ever committed have been inspired by them. It's like, okay, you're really trying a bit too hard to make this significant, you know? We all know how significant loneliness is. I don't buy that fear and loneliness are the two big bad emotions or something. I feel there's a bit more complexity to our emotions than that. Oh, this is just a nice bit, you know? The Doctor's talking about, you know, like, to get across space you need all this sciencey stuff, but you also need a hand to hold. And it's like, oh, that's a sweet way of putting it. And Rose has been holding out her hand all this time. So when he's like, hand to hold, he's like, oh, there's your hand. That's a sweet moment, you know? It just emphasizes how important it is to just have someone there with him. Like, he says, everything's coming up, Doctor, and that's good, because then I get reminded of the Simpsons bit where Milhouse says, everything's coming up, Milhouse. So I'm being reminded of something better in possibly the best Doctor Who story ever committed to screen. Possibly. Okay, I can't help it. Just every time that it becomes beautiful, I'm going to point it out, because people don't seem to talk about this ever. Look at that, the sudden colour, the burst of colour. Like, the way that light kind of dances off the skin a bit. Just the beautiful light and vibrant colour is just gorgeous and perfectly set against the face, which cuts the screen in two with just the smoothest, silkiest line silhouetting against the light. It's great. Alright, you know what's bullshit though? Like, the speed that they draw is just like, come on, really? Are you just like magically good at motor movements on humans now? Like, this doesn't make sense. You seem to just exist living off each other's loves, floating in space. How are you so good at piloting a human body? Like, expertly drawing super fast. Like, no one draws that fast. Alright, the Doctor's just disappeared. Rose has barged into this house. It's nice to see this shot being used again, even though its impact is less. It's still cool to have this shot returned to, because it is an evocative shot. Rose has to do a Clara now. You know, this episode is very much like Flatline. When Rose flips out this just crap drawing of the Doctor and the TARDIS, and they're just crap drawings, they can't help Rose. I love it. It's beautifully cheap, but also quite, you know, harrowing and devastating for Rose. It's like, oh shit, you're on your own now. Remember how you were with the Sycorax? That was going badly before the Doctor turned up. Oh my god, and just like the Isolus saying, I want to be with Chloe Webber. I love Chloe Webber. Just emphasizing of how pure their emotions are. There's no hatred in this. They're doing this because of love. And they love Chloe. Yeah, it's just like the empty child, you know? Just a child will tear down the world in order to have love. Wouldn't we all? Would not we all? Oh my god, and just the power of that no, when Rose is like, bring him back now, because she's just treating Chloe like a villain, which I guess, you know, I can sort of understand her seeing Chloe as a villain now that the Doctor's been taken away, but her being so unsympathetic to Chloe before this just really weakens how dramatic it is that Rose is just being mean to Chloe. They're not a cackling villain. They mean for the best, and they're going to be very hard to dissuade. What a compelling thing. Like, it's good conflict. I'm sorry, Rose puts her head in her hands, and the contrast between the blue and the yellow. Finally, like, Rose looking yellow looks good again. Like, I love the blue and yellow contrast in this story. It's so nice. I love the way the shadows dance off Rose's back. Just here. There, I love the dancing shadows there. Oh my god, the bizarre thing that I presume came from advertising where they say smooth as a baby's bottom. That's just a weird thing to say, right? This guy is just incredibly endearing in a really weird way. Not a bump or a lump. He is the perfect council worker. He has been genetically engineered to be the greatest council worker possible. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if just smooth as a baby's bottom is just a British thing. I don't know if, like, that's, like, something that gets advertised for, like, I don't know what advertises it. Is it nappies? Whatever. It's a weird thing. I feel like it might just be a Britishism, but maybe it's not. I'd hope so, though, because like, it is weird, right? Look, to save you time, I've not, like, recorded every moment of this interaction, but just he loves his job so much. Like, Rose has just asked him, like, remember 6 days ago? And he's like, 6 days ago? Boy, that takes me back to my favourite time in my life when I was laying this for the first time. And he looks so lovingly at the road, and it's so heartwarming and earnest, and I love it. Oh my god, he says blended to a secret council recipe. Like, no one is into being in the council this much, right? It's just what an entertaining, surreal character. I guess it's kind of emblematic of how this episode treats the Olympics, you know? Like, the most saccharine version possible. The most wholesome thing it can conceive of, rather than actually being in any way accurate. That's a council van, I love the council. Wait, no, what are you doing? That's a council axe coming out of a council van, you... you bad person, you villain. I'm going to unleash the police on you. Of course, the police are controlled by different aliens. So, you know, these aliens have control over the council. There's different aliens who have control over the police. Oh my god, he looks so devastated as Rose is just smashing up this thing. I'd like the glee that Rose has when she brings out the axe is just absolutely delightful. Like, that face is just, you know, that's the face of someone who's like, you know what? I always think that every situation can be solved with a pickaxe, and this one absolutely can, and I'm going to prove it. I'm the doctor now. I'm making the decisions. This situation requires a pickaxe. I always think the situation needs a pickaxe, but the doctor always shoots me down, and I've just stopped suggesting it, but fuck it. I'm in charge now. Pickaxe it is. Sorry, this just strikes a nerve with me because, you know, I used to love hammers and mallets so much in the past, and just everything looked like something that could be fixed by hitting it, but, you know, well, I did fix the GameCube having the little handle thing, and I sawed that off. Like, when I used a hammer for my bike, it did not fix it. It made it worse. But I was young, and, you know, that's the kind of youthful energy that Rose is coming with this pickaxe, you know? Like, screw it. I think a pickaxe is entirely applicable to every situation, and I'm going to prove it now. I'm surprised she doesn't take it up to Chloe and start threatening her with the pickaxe, or fucking lobs it through the window to create a diversion so that Chloe won't be drawing stuff. Just Rose is taking an axe to his soul when she axes with a council axe into tarmac that was laid by the council. He is devastated. He does not understand what's going on. He's just, how can you be using council things to destroy council things? The council paid for that, don't you know? You're not from the council. You're not one of the conglomeration that comprises the council. the YouTube video that Minecraftifies this scene. It has infected my head in the most beautiful way. Like, it makes this scene such a vibe. Like, I don't play Minecraft, but I adore what the video does with that. I don't know, is that the same video that I've been hyping up before? I can't remember. It's got a lot of stuff in it. But, like, my god, the Minecraft Fair is perfection. I'm sorry, maybe I'm not the person that this is targeted towards, because when the Olympic torch went past me when I was in a cafe, like, everyone else went out to see the torch, I just stayed in the cafe. I don't think I even looked out. Like, such was the lack of interest from me. So, like, I am aware that other people seem to broadly be more excited about this than me, but I don't have their perspective. I have my perspective, and by God am I projecting my perspective onto everyone else, because every right-minded person should think like me, obviously. The Olympics, everyone's been stolen away, and it's the comedic height of the episode. It's like, not you too, Bob.
Can we join you in the box? Bob! Not you too, Bob.
It's the funniest delivery of a line in the episode. Just the music being so dramatic and like an emotionally devastating sort of vibe. It's one of the funniest lines in Doctor Who. I think it's amazing. It's such a quaint way of being like, oh god, he's gone just like everyone else. Not you too, Bob. I love it. It's like, oh no, not the Olympics. The London 2012 must happen. And all these people who have put their dreams and hard work, all these people are just not going to be able to do the Olympics in London in 2012. Isn't that devastating? Wait, over 80,000 spectators and 30,000 athletes? There are that many athletes in the Olympics? What is going on? I thought there'd only be like 100 or something, I don't know. 1,000 at most. 30,000? Piss off. All these people have just like been lost. Can they even come back? Are they dead now? The horror of it. Like, the scale is just so ridiculous, the way it ramps up, and then suddenly she opens a picture book with the Earth so she can draw the Earth, and you're like, oh shit, she's gonna draw the Earth? And that is just objectively hilarious. I don't know. You know what? Maybe this is actually a better thing for humanity. Like, is humanity going to be elevated to, like, empathic beings on the level of the Isolus and just live off each other's love? Is this, like, did the human race experience something beautiful and then have it taken away from them by Doctor Who's obsession with the status quo? Is this what the Time Lords were trying to elevate themselves into when they were wanting to elevate themselves into beings of pure thought in the end of time? Oh my god, so the pod needs more than heat. What does it need? Obviously it needs love, and where are we going to find love? Only through the Olympics and the symbolism of the Olympic torch. Yeah, you know how the mouse owns Doctor Who now. Look, she's got Mickey Mouse ears. This episode was like prophetic. So the Doctor's drawing is like pointing at the Olympic torch. This is where the culmination of what I love about the Olympics thing comes up. This is what epitomizes it for me. This is like the best bit of it. This is the bit that made me realize what it was doing. They're like, I suppose it's more than a torch now. It's a beacon. It's a beacon of hope and fortitude and courage. And it's like, is the Olympics about courage and hope and fortitude? Like, just placing so much significance on this flame that I know has like symbolic meaning or whatever, but it's still just, it's trying so hard to make the Olympics so meaningful, and how the Olympic flame represents hope. It's a beacon of hope, it's a beacon of fortitude, it's a beacon of courage. Like, what are you on about? Yeah, no, and this line just clinches it. It's like, and it's a beacon of love. But it's not. Shut up, you're trying too hard. It's a kind of so bad it's good vibe. The massive Earth being drawn. Why can't you just draw a tiny version of it? Whatever. I love just the excessiveness of it. It's like, oh shit, this drawing gets completed. The Earth is taken. The Earth's just gonna get... Someone tried to move the Earth before. Oh, it's such a goofy, ridiculous escalation. The story never wanted to be this big. Its emotionality is so intimate and personal in a way that this is just utterly, in its attempts to, hype up the Olympics, it's just being so incongruous with what the episode is otherwise trying to be. And I love it. The clashing of tones is just hilarious. Like, I don't vibe with the dad that much, but the mum just being like, you're not gonna hurt her again, fuck off. Like, that's powerful. Like, that's some moving acting. Love it. Doesn't this guy get knocked out? Like, you'd think Rose would be like, go to the torch. But no, it's like the most over-emotional bullshit ever. Feel the love. Actually, if you think about it more, it does actually make sense. This thing works on empathy. And if we're buying that the Olympic torch is a beacon of love, then it's going to be drawn to the Olympic torch, which of course it is. Go on, little fella. It's like the One Ring going onto Frodo's finger. It's exactly that vibe, and it was great there. Why not here? Oh my god, the elf's about to get murked. Fuck. Yeah, the elf is basically complete. And she just makes this incredibly intense eye contact. How can you say this actor is bad? Look at that, just the intense, that's like, it's almost a jump scare with like the intensity of it. And it's like, it looks like they're like, I'm gonna get the earth now. But instead, they say, I can go home. And it's like, they just seem so happy about it. And you realise that the earth is saved. And because the Olympics saved us because of the Olympic flame. And like saying goodbye, Chloe Webber. I mean, like, given how lonely Chloe Webber is, like, the fact that she's going to lose this empathic, psychic being that shared her headspace, like, that must be such a devastating loss. Like, this moment has such a horror to it, such a power. Like, they're so happy to be back with their brothers and sisters, but they're going to leave Chloe Webber. And Chloe Webber meant so much to them, and likewise, like, it's devastating. But she said, I love you. That's a beautiful thing to say. Oh my god. Okay, that's funny, the fact that it just smashes through the window. That's like a comedic punch at the end. I love it. It's cute. Yeah, and she like completely changes now that she's not got the alien fronting. Well, what's your problem? Do you expect an alien to act human? You've been watching too much Doctor Who. Aliens shouldn't be human, even if Doctor Who's like, yeah, every alien is just a human, just slightly different humanoid form, but basically everyone looks like a human, give or take. The mighty Jagrafess would like to have words. They presumably still have memories of being a fucking drawing. So, like, I don't know, that's kind of interesting. Like, it's like the end of series 3. Like, everyone we care about remembers what happened, so it's not like time got reversed. Because the effects of it to anyone we care about are still there entirely. It did happen for them. And that's the case with this kid here. And the cat. They existed in 2D space for a while. And that's just kind of wild. They're just like, oh my god, it was horrible. Or maybe it wasn't horrible. Maybe they got to psychically connect with the kids, because that's presumably what they were doing. They were given so much love and had been converted into psychic beings. Like, isn't this crushing that the Doctor in the episodes before the story that Rose disappears in, like, the Doctor gets to experience not only the love of Rose, but the love of everyone in that Olympic stadium, of Chloe, of the alien who has a capacity for love that just is in an utterly different class to our own capacity for love. Yeah, no, I feel nothing as these kids come back, so it's just fun to think about the implications. Oh my god, it's the old lady. You haven't been here for ages. What the hell? You're a great vibe. Like, anytime she's on screen, just an electric character to have on screen, even more than the council van guy. Even more than him. There's so many good actors here. Even the racist. Oh no, the Doctor's not here. Oh my god, no, I remember what happens. Oh no, the dad's coming out. And he can control doors. You know what, I think most aliens in the Doctor Who universe can control doors. That's why doors close all the fucking time, inexplicably. And, you know, suddenly they're locked. It's like, what? But no, this is just a basic thing that most beings are able to do. Yeah, I don't engage particularly with the dad bit here, I'm sorry. Oh my god, no, the red, the blanket red, it's just so ugly. No, it's like watching 42 again. It's ugly. I don't know quite how they've earned them suddenly acting like, oh, they weren't happy together and now they are. I don't know, like, it just feels like the episode's forcing itself to suddenly be all happy rather than grappling with anything more heavy. I don't know. I just don't like it. It just feels false, you know? Like, it just feels like the episode's just like, we gotta make it as happy as possible. Their relationship is entirely mended. There's nothing interesting here, because basically the mum's only accepting Chloe now that the difference in Chloe has gone. I don't know. That doesn't resonate as good. It just doesn't feel quite right. You know, like how watching Team America, there's like the satire that you're like, oh my god, yeah, this is satire, and then like there's just a bunch of it that's like, oh, but you're on America's side about this? What? But what about the satire? Yeah. Alright, Rose is sad that the Doctor's, lost in a 2D realm or something? And she says, who's gonna hold his hand now? It's affecting, it's the last time they get to be happy before they get split up. Wait, why is the torchbearer in trouble? What's going on? Are they just getting drunk on the love that they're being invited into? They said we did see a flash of lightning earlier that seemed to strike him. So that was the egg spaceship thing landing in the flame. And it dealt damage to this person and is slowly knocking them out. What? No, he is drunk on love. He is just, this is an addict dropping to the ground in utter bliss of the purity of love. Oh my god, so the guy's fallen down and they're like, does this mean that the Olympic dream is dead? Because some guy holding the Olympic torch has, like, what are you talking about? You just told me that 80,000 people are back. And now you're like, wait, no, because this one person has died, the Olympic dream is dead. What kind of fortitude and courage and hope is that? You don't even believe your own hype, do you? Does this mean that the Olympic dream is dead? It's just so funny. They're trying so hard to convince us that the Olympics are important and that the Olympic flame is so significant and important, and without it, without the person carrying it, the Olympic dream is dead. Like, the Olympic dream doesn't die when other atrocities go on, but this, someone falling down because they seem to have fainted, and the triumphant music when the Doctor grabs the torch, like, is so silly. It's like, oh no, the Olympic dream is dead, as the torchbearer just lies on the floor. And you know what? Fuck him. Who cares about the Olympic bearer? As you can see, it's not about, the Olympic dream's not dead because of them. No one cares about them. It's the torch. Everyone cares about the torch because the torch is so much more significant than human life. Is the Olympic dream dead? No. Are they okay? Someone dying now on TV? But wait, no, who cares about that? What we actually care about is the Olympic torch. And you know what? A mystery man has picked up the torch. And no one wants to stop him, even though we don't know who he is. They're so happy about this. There's no concern for the person lying, just potentially dead on the road. Did that, like, is the Olympic dream this fickle that it's not about the person? It doesn't matter how many people die. Like, the Olympics must happen. That's the Olympic dream. So the fact that someone died and it inconvenienced the Olympics and maybe stopped this torch from getting, like, god damn. Ah, here we go. Here's some of that beautiful, beautiful dialogue that you only get in this episode. It's more than a flame now, Bob. It's more than heat and light. What is it? Is it love? Is it fortitude? Is it courage? Is it hope? Or are you going to add something more? Can you even think of anything more than it could be? Because you seem to be struggling with that list. It's hope and it's courage and it's love. Yeah, you came out of a list. You forgot fortitude, by the way. What happened to fortitude? And just the Doctor's like, oh my god, this is the best. He's just vibing away. He's like, this is such a low-stakes episode. Sure, the Earth was about to be destroyed and taken out of existence and put into an emotional plane of love where we get to exist as beings of mostly just thought. But no, we get a more bleak thing than that. We get reality. Just, whereas as isolated as we are. Anyway, the Doctor's having a good time about it. We don't need to dwell on that. It's his love of this is infectious. It's like, yeah, you know what? It is awesome that he's lighting the torch. It's the best thing ever that Doctor Who is lighting the torch. He's having such a fun time here. You know, it's not just about having a good time with Rose. It's having the good times with Rose, you know? You know, like, this episode isn't just, like, shoving it down your throat that, like, the Doctor and Rose love being around each other. Like, it's that they love what they love and they love to have a hand to hold while doing that. Like, it's not just about being in love with each other, it's about being in love with the universe and having someone to share that with. I don't know, it's more subtle than just, you know, somehow it being the Doctor and Rose's love that was able to make the torch happen. I like it, you know. It's nice to have a hand to hold, and I think it's a really sweet sentiment. I love it. Alright, silhouette pretty. And it's nice that the Doctor's on his own. Rose is just going to come up beside him and hold his hand, because they've built it up. And she offers him the cake that he was, like, raving about, like the edible ball bearings. which everyone loves, of course. And she offers him a cake with that. That's sweet, you know, that's beautifully subtly set up with just him vibing away talking about these things, and she's clearly heard him and been like, here you go. Like, it is a nice, sweet, whatever kind of relationship it is that they have. You know, in a relationship where you can say top banana and it just be a good vibe. You know, that's a sweet relationship, right? It's hard because they've been apart so much in the episode, even though like this episode is them having a final attempt at, you know, their final time of being happy together, and yet so much of it they had apart, and the fact that they get to be back together and how much it hurt them to be apart. You know what, this episode themes really feed into how powerful this series 2 finale is. Wow, this is incredibly thematically resonant. This is just a dummy run of what's going to happen to them. It's like, oh, it happened to the Isolus. Well, now it's going to happen to you, but you don't get to be back with the one that you need. So the Doctor's just like, right, let's go to the games. That's what we came for. We came for the Olympics, baby. And Rose is like, oh, I love the Olympics so much, like, I need to know. Give us a clue. What's gonna happen? Who's gonna win? She's doing an Adam, isn't she? Just like creating stuff that she can make money off. Just subtly. And he's like, Papua New Guinea surprised everyone in the shot pot. You know what? If anyone knows how Papua New Guinea did in the shot pot, please let me know, because I would love to know if, like, what if they did? Because that would be utterly electric. You know what, now that I think about it, there are a lot of countries. Maybe it makes sense that there's 30,000 athletes. I never thought of it like that. I always thought of it as like 100. I guess I'm not that into the Olympics. Well, I'm sorry, I thought the Olympics was like the final. It's like the Eurovision finale. Like, there's been lots of countries that have entered, but most of them have just been taken out of the show. Or like a lot of them have. I don't know, I only have watched the finale. I thought the Olympics was something like that, alright? But, you know, this episode is actually teaching me. You know, I'm getting knowledge about the real world because Doctor Who is educating me. Just like it always wanted to do all those years ago. So yeah, if anyone knows, Papua New Guinea surprised everyone in the shot pot. Did they? Tell me. Tell me! I need to know this. Don't you? Like, what if it was actually prophetic? What does this tell us about Doctor Who? Like, I don't know. I've increased my level of interest in the Olympics thanks to this episode. And if that was its modest goal, which it did not feel like it was, it felt like it was trying to sell the Olympics to the nation. But this is such a sweet moment when she said, you know what, they keep trying to split us up, but they never ever will. That's just such a lovely moment, you know, to just be like, this is where they're at, you know, they think it'll last forever. She's doing a Clara. She is copying Clara.
Never say never ever.
And Doctor's like, never say never ever. Oh no, Doctor, you're too wise. Doesn't he say, like, there's a storm coming? And, I don't know, they say it in space. I assume that means it was a homage to something that said it before then. But, like, there's a storm coming. It's just a cool thing to say. Yes, it's cliched. But, like, go on, let's enjoy it together. Something in the air, something coming. What are you talking about, Doctor? Or is this just you're like, oh God, things always get bad by now, so this must be a statistic anomaly. And I've gotten this close with someone, I'm going to lose them soon. That's probably what this is the Doctor's trauma. Isn't this episode all about trauma?
A storm's approaching.
A storm's approaching. I don't know, it's not as cool as a storm's coming, but you know, it's still vibey. A storm's approaching, it's so cheesy, it's so cliche, it's so nonsense. It's like, It's like doors just shutting and locking on their own for no reason, and the narrative never feels it necessary to explain the reason. God, he's looking so intensely as he says a storm's coming. You know, that really sells it. You know what? Yeah, this is a great instance of a storm's coming. Like, it's just a dramatic thing to do as in a setup for a finale. Like, it's just cool. Alright, let's see what the trailer is. See if we have like Rose being like, this was the day I died.
This is the story of war on Earth.
God, it is, isn't it? Okay, this is actually quite hype. Oh my god, yeah, this makes this two-parter look really hype. Okay, apart from the gun battles look utterly terrible. What an ugly set of episodes. You know what, they don't have the right director. That's a beautiful shot. Like, when I think of this story, the lighting is a big part of what I think about it, and I think about how just overlit and ugly everything is. Just how unaesthetic it is. Like, does no one else connect with Doctor Who in just an aesthetic sense? Like, obviously I have more connection to it than the aesthetics, but like, the aesthetics are important. You get the aesthetics nice, it's pleasing, right? And that's what this two-parter coming up utterly failed to do. Like, I wouldn't be pausing it every moment to be like, oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. It's an ugly two-parter. It's until the end, when it feels like Moffat swept in like he did at the end of the terrible Silurian two-parter, and he like wrote this most incredible moving stuff. You know, that's how the end of it feels. Suddenly it's like, oh shit, the good writers come along and made it good, even though the rest of it was so bad. I love Chibnall's writing, but not his first two stories. I think they are some of the worst of Doctor Who. So I'm like an early Chibnall hater, but I think as he went along, he got better and better and better and better. And he always learnt lessons. They weren't always the right lessons, but by God, he learnt lessons each time he did something. And that's why I was so excited about the Flux, because I knew something like that was going to come. Well, at least I knew he had the potential to go in that direction if he just learnt the right lessons. When it came to the Flux, he learnt enough of the right lessons to make one of the greatest series of Doctor Who ever.
This is the last story I'll ever tell.
Holy shit. That is the hypest next time ever. I never watched the next times because it's like, I feel like they just spoil so much. I'll rank next time trailers out of 10 for every story. Okay, I'm going to start that now. So there we go. Hopefully you understand why and how I love Fear Her now. Time to rank it actually. How do I feel about Fear Her? Fear Her isn't as exciting as Spyfall, and it's not as beautiful as Spyfall. Spyfall is the most beautiful. And it's got Sacha Dhawan. Need I say more? Yeah, I think fourth place is good. I think I've accurately... Yeah. It is fourth place. First place, Waters of Mars. Second place, Curse of Fenric. Third place, Spyfall. And fourth place, Fear Her, which is just in front of An Unearthly Child pilot. Because the pilot is so much better than what got broadcast, and is the true version that they don't want you to know about. You know, surprise other ones up top at the moment are Doctor's Daughter and Kill the Moon. While I cannot defend Doctor's Daughter, I would quite like to do one of these videos about Kill the Moon. I don't think it's not a particularly aesthetic episode, so you know, it's going to be a lot shorter, but it's a great episode. You know, once you let go of what the allegory is, which, you know, fair enough if you can't. But if you just pretend that it has nothing to do with abortion, is a good vibe. And don't worry about the science. It doesn't matter. It's science, fantasy, whatever. Like, it's no more fantasy than the Olympic torch being a beacon of love and fortitude and courage and... Alright, I'm done. Subscribe. Also, I released a music video. Actually, I released 2 music videos recently. So, I'll leave a link to those in my video description, because they're pretty good. See ya. Did you see it? I hate you, Lucy. You know I do.